Okay, we should be getting going here in a few seconds. Already got some people in chat. That's fantastic. I honestly was not expecting people to be hopping in chat so soon. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you can see me. It may take a second for it to catch up to you. Okay. Yeah, if you didn't hear me before, welcome to the stream. I did not expect two people to already be in chat. Welcome, Chad, and I'm so sorry. I do not know how to pronounce that name. J. Hamus? Is it just like Hamus? Is the J more is the J mostly silent? James. Oh, you know, I read that now and it makes a lot more sense. Okay. James. Okay. I'm not great with pronunciation of names. But welcome. I'm glad to see you here. I think this is your first time chatting, right? Welcome, welcome. Today we are doing a macro review from somebody on my Discord. I have a channel on there that if you send me a macro, I will review it either on stream or in a video. If I get enough, I'll do it on stream, or if I get enough, I'll do it in a video. But if I just get like one or two, I'll probably just do them on stream. And then we'll just be chatting the rest of the time. Talking about DaVinci, answering any questions. But I think I'll start with the macro review when Sleeveless gets in here. How's it going, man? Yeah, I got both of yours. I got your DRFX that you put in the chat, the new one from what was that? This morning or yesterday? Yeah, this morning. Well, this morning for me. I have no idea what time it was for you, I guess. And I've only just took a peek at them a little bit, and they're looking pretty fire. I have a few comments already about the design, but design aside, I think we're looking pretty good. I'll just give a little bit of time for some more people to hop in who want to come on in. Like, I know that hopefully they don't suck. I don't think they suck. Obviously, there's things that, like, hey, let's, like, watch out for, but I think they're okay. We're gonna, like, open them up, take a look at the actual inside of the macro, take a look at the UI, all kinds of stuff like that. Oh, I don't have my music going. Let's go and get that going. I pulled up music and everything for the stream and I forgot to turn it on. Let me turn it down. Let me know if that is loud enough for you. I can totally turn it up if it's not. Hopefully we're doing pretty good. And if you want to join the Discord, that is down in the description of this video. It's the last link. It should be the last link in all my videos, unless I switch things around. It was actually the top link for today's video, so if you wanted to check that out as well, you can. I'm just going to give a little bit more time for people to hop in here. Let people come and go as they please. Okay. I think we'll give it another minute here and then we'll hop into the review. Then we'll just start chatting. Welcome back, Chad. I think we're going to give it... Actually, we're just about done with our minute here, so I think we're going to go ahead and start hopping into looking at this macro. This is from Sleeveless. they sent in a macro on the Discord, which you can also do. Down in the last link of the description, there is a link to the Discord if you're not already in it. And you can send me your macros in the macro reviews channel. And I'll do, if I have enough of them, I'll do a whole video, but otherwise I'll just put it on stream because it's fast and easy enough to just review it on stream. So let's go ahead and hop over to here. Let's go ahead and put me back up. There we go. So I just put it over the video from today, just because I wanted to be able to see what it looks like on a video. And right off the bat, there's something weird happening with one of your effects, which we can take a look at that here in a minute. Things like this are bound to happen, so don't worry. Making macros tends to be like... Oh, is music a little loud? Making macros tends to be a little bit of trial and error in like lots of testing. How is that? Is that too quiet now? Did you hear what I was saying before? Or was the music a little bit too loud? Better? Okay. I'm gonna turn it down a tiny bit just so it's not overwhelming me. But, yeah, you didn't hear? Okay. So I did notice as I was scrubbing through this, there was a slight problem. I've it over just today's video just to see things like how it looks on something, because that's generally how this is going to work. Like, this is how you're going to be using your macro anyway. This is a title and lower third. There's a small weird glitch in one of your effects. It could be a glow effect, I'm not sure. We will figure that out when we dig into it here in a minute. But macros are lots of trial and error, so don't worry about it too much. Generally, you're going to be probably working on like complicated macros can take over a month, but simple titles can take maybe a week or so to like fully do like testing and stuff to make sure it works okay, make sure everything looks good. I also don't know your intended frame rate. I'm also assuming that you're using Anim Utility or something like it to get your animations, but I don't know for sure. And I won't comment on your spelling of words, because that is just that happens a lot with people who didn't grow up speaking English, which either that or you just made a simple mistake. But I've seen like Xsession make that mistake a lot, especially with like words that have an e on the end. So looking into this first, obviously should be 30. No, just keyframe stretcher. You're American. I just can't spell. Okay, no, that's fair. Yeah. But I have seen like Xsession make mistakes like this a lot, and I know that he doesn't speak English natively, but so it's like it's not a big deal. It happens a lot, and people generally don't care if there's like a misspelling. They might comment about it, but it's not going to ruin the product for them. Looking at this, immediately we can see a couple of things. And I want to first comment on the double text. I know what's going on here because it's really easy to make this mistake. You used my macro creator, I'm pretty sure, the one that I'm in development in, and it shows drop-down labels just like this, and it's really easy to select them by accident. You actually do it a couple of times, like here in Transform as well, and here for the background. It's really easy to do, and I'll show you how to avoid doing that here in a minute. And it's also pretty easy to like get rid of in the code as well, if you want me to show you that as well. Besides that, I do also want to take a look at these controls, for example, right on and seed rate and offset. These are all animated controls, and generally you don't want to give the user the animated controls because it's really easy to like go to it and adjust it and then double click it, and then all your keyframes are immediately gone. One reset of a control, all the animation's gone. So it may be more ideal to not give them access to that control at all, and then let them go into Fusion to change it if they really want to change it, or get an animation engine like Anim Utility or something like that similar, and just use that instead. And then for seed rate, you have a perturb on here. I know because I went into Fusion and looked at the node. You have the perturb modifier. Just give them these controls, which you can do by just if you're using my tool, it should show the modifiers in that list as well. Just go to whichever modifier you want, which would be perturb, and just select the controls you want. Some like small things like that I just want to point out to you. Besides that, not too bad of stuff. I do really want to figure out what's going on here. My best guess is glow, because glow has a lot of problems when you don't select like a single option. Glows are really weird. I won't necessarily comment on the design alone, but I do feel like it's not meant to be put over a video like this. Because only due to the fact that you have like it's transparent for so long. Now, I don't know how long you expect this title to last on someone's timeline, or if it should have an out animation, because it doesn't seem to. Maybe it just was too short. Yeah, it does have an out animation. It was just too short. Okay. You can. It's fine to have. You think it's the brightness and the fast noise? It could be. But having it glitch onto the background like that, like you can see the background through it, is a little bit unusual. Now that I'm scrubbing through it, I can't find an example. Here we go. Could be brightness on it. I'll have to look at the nodes here in a second. Like you can have a title or effect that will last longer than the default length, but I think having it the default length, like allowing it to work for the default length of the clips, because like and if you put it onto a timeline, it's always going to be this default length unless the user has changed it. But making it work for that length, I feel like, is the most user-friendly option. Because if they drag your title onto their timeline and it doesn't work for them immediately, most users will just be like, ah, well, guess it doesn't work. Gotta just not use it then. Oh well, doesn't have an out animation, but I really want one. But all they have to do is extend it out some, and it's just not there because of keyframe structure nonsense, which happens a lot. Don't worry, it's not a new thing. That's why I don't like keyframe structures, because if it's very easy to not work. It's very easy for it to not work. This isn't really an animation like review or audit or whatever you want to call it. So like I won't really comment necessarily on the animations themselves or the design itself, but I just feel like for readability, maybe changing it out a little bit. I do understand what you mean by ink, but I just feel like the movement is a little bit too fast for the fast noise, and having it, I don't know, it just feels a little bit too fast, like in general, because it's really distracting from the title, which is also still like somewhat transparent through the entire title. Like the actual words also, they don't line up for whatever reason. I was noticing that before. They just don't line up with the holes. I don't know why. I guess we're going to find that out here in a minute. But I do like the shine effect. That's a really good effect. I'm guessing you used like a brightness and contrast and masked that, something like that. It's a really common way to do it. But also that has more opacity. So maybe you used the opacity to do a glow like that. I don't know. We're going to find out. But yeah, I'd say for readability, work a little bit on readability for your designs. Like both of them have the same sort of design. I don't hate the fast noise and like the transparency, but at the very least make the title like full opacity, and maybe slow down the fast noise, and maybe have the default gradient options a little bit. Contrast is fine. Like maybe the detail also could be taken down a bit, because we don't really need all that detail in there. Honestly, maybe bringing up contrast a little more. And I don't know if we need as much black as we have. This is all just me personally thinking of design choices, but it's up to you. Yeah, we still have a weird glitch like that. Contrast doesn't seem... Yeah, it does make it become a little more solid. But it also adds separation. Which is what I was looking for. Yeah. But this is all subjective. Like, don't... Or... objective. Subjective is like factual truth. This is all objective. It's all my opinion. You can obviously design it however you want. Doesn't really matter. In reference size, I would say you don't really need that. Or really, maybe not even like these last options from filter method down. For transform, people generally won't bother with those. I'd say edges is the last one you're going to need. But everything else is totally fine to have. And all these settings are just fine. Yep. Okay. And then I do want to point out the elephant in the room, the creator tab. It is totally fine to have like a separate tab or even putting it in settings, which is also called common. This is the common tab. Although you couldn't tell because it says settings. But this is technically called the common tab. If you put the icon on the common tab, then it'll just hide it in here. It looks like you just did like a scale down of your regular logo to the roughly 300 pixel width. It looks like it's maybe not centered, but there could be something else going on there I just don't know about. But yeah, trying to shrink your logo almost is gonna always do this. There's not really a great way to do it unless you completely redesign your logo in like a 300 by like 150 high little area, which you can do with a program like Aseprite. Yeah, it's okay. Like obviously you're like learning, and this is totally fine if you're just like trying to figure things out. You don't know why it's off center though. That's interesting. I might take the base 64 and like reopen that, take a look at it. But yeah, generally if you like do like Aseprite, or there's like other programs out there for free. Aseprite's a paid program on Steam, but it allows you to do pixel art, which you could do like 300 by 150 pixel art to do that, or just in like Canva or Photoshop or Illustrator, do just like a really small logo that's basically just text in maybe a small little graphic. But generally, yeah, it's hard to get a good looking logo in there. Text usually works better. Like making your text with like maybe a small little icon is probably the best practice if you want to add a logo in there. Or just starting out small, because if you try to shrink it, you're always going to get that. But now let's dig into the nodes. Real quick though, a lot of the same comments are on this as well. I'm just a little bit confused about this one, because in here you have all those settings in the same thing, and maybe what you were trying to do is make it like a nested drop down like this is, just for these options right here, like this right here. And you can do that. You just have to make sure that this is set up to accept these other controls, including the drop down. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other controls. Otherwise, it's just like consistency between like your macros. If they're using the same options, generally having consistent controls is ideal. But once again, you're still learning, and this is probably maybe a couple of days of playing around and testing with it to get this specific effect. I obviously don't know. But yeah, UI is always one of the harder parts. That's why it always takes forever to actually make the macro after you have the effect. The effect can take like maybe a week, but then if you're working on a bigger project, making just the controls for it can like take a month or more. Oh, you know, the multiple tabs thing is like okay. You can I'd say like maybe the max tabs you should really have is 3 or 4, not including settings. There is an option to get rid of this, and I will do a tutorial on that once I like learn it some. But like these drop downs, I don't know, just like making it consistent for how the controls are laid out is kind of what I'm thinking. Is that music loud again? Because I can hear it out of my headphones. And they're way over here. Also, don't comment about the fact that I'm wearing the exact same shirt as the video. This happens sometimes. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and dig into the code a little bit, the nodes a little bit. I'm going to use my automatic switcher, the type changer. Nice organization, looking pretty good. Interesting. Oh, an instance transform that doesn't have a home. This isn't being instanced by anything anymore. Neither is this mask. So I do have a few guesses as to why. Ew, weird. Some weird stuff's going on with that. Fast noise. What was that? Let's see. Let's take a look at the fast noise. Yep, you got the mask of your rectangle. Not bad. I mean, that's just how it works. Displace. Which doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot. It is doing some. Okay, that's how it's getting the color. Okay. Yeah, and then you're putting it over that to get the size, which I don't think is super important because you're getting a size from this. So you probably don't need this here, if I had to guess. Yeah, I think you're looking at this exact same like that. Yeah, you're doing a brightness contrast to get that shine on it. Looking nice there. Why is... Oh. That's why you're getting... Okay. So you had alpha on. I don't know if that was intentional or not. But the alpha was making it still that little transparency. And then this is making your texts not line up. Like this little gap here. Yep. That little transform was making that not line up right. Since you have your first text back here making like a indent sort of into this, making a little pocket for it, which I don't fully know why you need. Could you not just do this? Oh, is it making the color for it? Is that why? Ah, yes, that's where the color came from. Okay. You can't hear me. Is the music too loud? I'm not muted. I'll turn down the music a little bit. The music can be a little loud, yes. Okay. It looks like you can just use the single text. I don't think you need to have the other one in there. Oh, I also talk quieter. And since the OBS doesn't have my options, like when I edit my videos, I don't have like a compressor to make sure my audio levels are the same, which I probably should add to OBS just for streaming. But let's make this white. Maybe. Oh, weird. Oh. Double weird. Okay. I don't know why that happened. I think we effectively have a very similar effect now, just without these nodes. But let's figure out why we're getting these weird glitches. What outline? I didn't see an outline on the other one. Hello. What happened? What happened? It didn't like me. It did not like that. Why did this not? I've never seen that before. That was weird. What outline are you talking about? Like this sort of thing? Because what's actually happening is your text and background just aren't lining up. It's not really an outline. It's just like transparency next to your text. I guess my only question is, why do you want it to be cut out of the box? To get this sort of like double effect? Is this what you were going for? So when it's on something, it looks a little bit weird. Especially when this isn't a full opacity, because you had a setting checked. I could create a macro with just this glow that passes through the text with definition and intensity and speed. Or with definition of intensity and speed. With just this glow. What glow? Hold on, I'm pulling up Discord. Anything happening? No. I'm in the stream room, but I'm not actually listening to anything. So if someone tries talking to me, I can't hear. But were you going after that look sleeveless? Because I personally don't see why you'd want it. But maybe there's like a design thing I just don't understand. I'm much more of a technical. I'm not much of a design person, technically speaking. I'll let you answer that, but I'm gonna hop back over here real quick. I was trying to make it cut out before the the white right side. Does that happen? Oh yeah, that does happen. Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's why you want that to be like that. Okay. That's fine then. Yeah. The only thing that I would actually change is just to make sure that you don't have this set to like 0.99, which it was set to. Now it should look okay. Like it should look what you were wanting it to. Yeah. That's probably a lot more of what you expected it to look like, instead of having a strange double image that you were getting before, because this was set to 0.99. It was doing this weird thing. Things like that happen. But that, yeah, I think that should be good now. But yeah, these two you don't need because you're already getting the size from the background right here. Let's move these up for me. Do you have hide incoming inputs? You do. Why is that? Okay. That music feels loud still. I'm hearing that so loudly through my headphones. No, yeah, that was just because one little transform decided to be weird. That can happen. Let's see. Let's figure out what's going on with your look here. Why is it doing this? I can clearly hear you speaking. Is that a comment about the music? Okay, I'll turn it back up a little bit. The music is just blaring out of my headphones, and they're like maybe a whole foot away. What is that in centimeters or meters? I don't really know. Then you got a drop shadow on the whole thing, which is really... Oh, wait. Just dow hat you have to. I'm assuming you're saying like lower it if you have to. Something like that along those lines. Typos. Do what you have to. Let me turn... Yeah, I had a feeling. I had a suspicion. Let me see what it looks like now. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So, drop shadows are funny. If you have some kind of opacity, they'll do some weird things. I'm trying to think how you might be able to avoid it. This is your master transform. Maybe mask? Invert? Maybe? Nah, it's still doing some weird things. We can see it right here. It's very weird. It's very hard to see, but you can kind of see it right there. Yeah, shadows are weird, especially drop shadows. You had it a bit high. All those instances that aren't instances are there because of copy. Yeah, it happens. It's okay. Yeah, just like whenever you're like finishing it off for clarity for your future self, renaming things wouldn't hurt. Just so you're not looking at it in the future being like, why does it say instance? There's no line leading to an instance. What's going on here? Let me try another shadow effect. We have the basic shadow. So the alpha divide is here for adding controls. Sleeveless used my in development macro creator, which I'll just demonstrate really fast over here. But essentially you're able to make a whole node tree as you usually do to make your macros. You know, put it over whatever background you want, whatever, etc., etc. This is gonna be really simple. Just gonna do a background over with some text over it, and then you can add like another node, like an alpha divide, which is really nothing. It is essentially just the settings tabs on other nodes, but you can add controls to it, and it really just helps with like when someone looks at it in the future, or when you look at it in the future, you know exactly where all your controls are at. It's just like a best practice that I like to teach personally. But for the macro creator, you can select all your nodes, select like your alpha divide node or whatever control or whatever node you want all of your controls to go on, and you can activate our script, and then you're able to edit all the options and add your controls and everything like that. So we can add all the text controls. So this is what Sleeveless used to make their macro. They selected all the controls. They probably bulk added it like this. We can come down too far. Get these ones. You can get the center positioning from the layout tab. Then we can add a separation line, put the separator above it, you know, move things around. Super quick and easy like that. And then that separator that we made went onto the alpha divide node on a user tab for reading it as an instance input in the actual like code of it. This is what I've been developing in the background. This maybe is going to be released publicly in maybe a month. I keep pushing back the deadline because I just don't want to work on it because of I'm tired. And I was working on it straight with like no breaks for a whole week. Then I burnt myself out for a little bit, but I will be getting back into working on it. I've been working on other projects, like I've worked on something with Jake Whip. I'm working on something with a different creator right now. But I actually just, those of you who weren't in the Mr. Alex Tech live stream for his Magic Zoom, which I bought immediately, by the way, it's awesome. How's it going, X? Or, shoot, I forget how your name was pronounced from last stream. I'll just call you X for now, until you remind me. But if you guys weren't in the Mr. Alex Tech stream, he actually mentioned me because he saw this project on the We Select Less forum. He like said my name like Asher Roland, and like I was so taken aback. I was so shocked. I was like, what? I'm being mentioned? But it's not for the channel. Yeah. Yeah, I know, that's very true. A lot of people, I wish I was famous. maybe soon. If Alex, yeah, but my point of that was Alex, I emailed him after the stream, and he now has a copy of the macro creator for the beta. So I'll be getting some feedback from him here soon. Maybe in like the next week or so, he'll probably be giving me his ideas and whatnot. But really, whenever you're making something sleeveless, like you said, a lot of the feedback you're going to get is, hey, add this, make this, do this, add this and this and this. People don't like to be like, oh, hey, this is cool, but like there's a small problem here. You know, like this isn't really user friendly. Can you maybe change this out a little bit? People will like to add things. People don't like to be like, hey, there's a problem. Can you fix it? Or like, hey, this isn't user friendly. Yeah, I get a lot of that feedback for the macro creator. Lots of the guys on the We Select Less forum, it's fine. I like to have stuff to work on for the near future, but like a lot of their suggestions are just like, hey, yeah, add this. And it's just like a laundry list of things to do. Maybe they will. I'm not surprised if I get a contact from Blackmagic in the future, because that is a really, not to toot my own horn here, but that is a really impressive macro creator that I can't wait to finish, because I can't wait to use. There is a small bug, and I don't think it's a me problem. I think it's an actual Blackmagic design problem. Shape nodes, more particularly like shape polygons, don't work, and I don't know why. But if you've ever used the S polygon, and I think if there's like an S spline, it probably would do the same thing. But if you've ever tried to save the settings on it, they don't work. There's not much wrong that you can find with it. I'm very surprised about that. I am genuinely very surprised. Like, I did take a whole week to put it together to its current state. Like, genuinely, that took me about a week to do, which I'll say it, it's fairly impressive that I did that in a week. The rest of these things are not going to take about a week because I saved the harder things for last, like an idiot. But genuinely, I'm surprised there's not a whole lot of problems. I've maybe had like a couple of things, like you in the Discord were saying that like tabs will duplicate themselves, which I think I fixed with a single line of code that I just didn't think to add. There's a few other things I need to add, like removing all of the things you've the number column. There wasn't. There's number columns that do exist, but they're hidden because they don't want you to mess with them because you'll break stuff. Oh, and Chad, yes, Jake did mention me in his video. I did make his script recently. It was really fun to make that. That took literally a day. I'm not gonna lie, that took maybe like a couple of hours. It was pretty cool. But yeah, if you've ever tried to like right click and save the settings on a polygon node from the shape system, like if we do a save as and just drop it into like, we'll just do my desktop because why not? And save the settings of a polygon. Well, that wasn't a good example because I didn't have an actual polygon. Let's make a little weird shape here. Let's do that. And then we try to save the settings of it. Save it to the same place, just override this one. And if you've ever tried to like reload those settings, let me open up, you can see my secrets. Let me get my desktop, pull it up into here. If we reopen the node and then try to preview it like how we had before, did they fix it? What the fuck? Did they just fix it? Because this was broken. I swear, I promise. This was broken. Isn't it like that with the text plus on the other page also? Isn't what like? I will be charging for the macro maker. Macro creator is its technical name, I guess. But the full version is going to be a bit pricey. I'm not going to like fully announce the prices yet because it's going to be. I'll probably announce it maybe like a week or so before release. You can copy and paste settings of. Well, you technically can't do it on the edit page, but you can't copy paste any of the settings from the edit page. You can if you had what was it? What's his name? Taquitos. That's a. I think I'm just thinking of Tostitos at that point. That one dude's DaVinci Resolve, not port, whatever it's called. His own version of DaVinci Resolve. His like modified version. Taquitos. That's right. I don't think it's pronounced that way, but that's how it looks like it's spelled. If you've ever used his, he does have like a text plus settings saver, which I honestly kind of like want to recreate and like give away for free. You've done it with images, but it won't work with text plus. I don't know what you mean by that. You can totally save the settings of a text plus. Like in Fusion, you can. Like you can right click and save as and save the settings of a text plus and delete that. I'll get to your question again here in a second, Chad. Sorry. This is my ADHD on full display. But yeah, if you save the settings of a text plus in the Fusion page, it works. Well, you can't, to my knowledge, save the settings of any like effector node on the edit page. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to refer to. Like what kind of like option or setting or thing you're trying to refer to. The only way to saving settings is through um, Fusion. Oh yeah, like if you copied and paste attributes, like for our background here, let's make this full screen again. Like if you were to like zoom in, like move position around, copy, and then like if I did it on a paste on this, like a Alt V, like you could paste like position and zoom, and it would like do that. But you can't do it if it's a text plus node and you're trying to get like the settings of it, the controls of it, because technically it's a node, not the edit page. It's like a different system. It's very confusing to have to like explain. But essentially, when you're changing the settings on a node or on a text plus effect, you're basically changing the settings on the node in Fusion, and you're not changing the settings in the inspector like transform and all this stuff. So it won't paste the same. To my knowledge, you also couldn't do. This is me testing right now, I guess. Like if you did a big zoom and you had another one, we copied and tried pasting. Let's get rid of these. Like you couldn't add fusion effects, I don't think, because it's technically not a fusion effect that you've changed. Like if you apply it, it's not going to like change that because it's not a fusion effect. That's going to be over here in this tab. Yeah, it's not a bug. It's just because it's a different system. It's technically intentional, and I think you can't even do it with the basic text. I'm pretty sure. If I increase the size of this and try to paste that onto here, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't work either because it's still a different system. Or at the very least, they don't have like a implementation for it. Like we'll even grab the plugins. And we'll even grab Zoom just in case. No. Yeah. When it comes to text, it's very weird. Like you have to have a specific macro to like save and reload settings. It's very bizarre. I don't know why. But let me answer Chad's question real quick. You're fine. Like, always ask the question whenever you want to. It does not matter. I just may take a second to get to answering it. It won't be free. The full version won't be free. And like I said, I won't be. Oh, I got an email from somebody I was hoping to get an email from. Kind of him to respond to me. Another secret project that I'm working on with somebody else. But um, yeah, there. I won't be announcing the prices just because they're not pleasant to hear. But I will be announcing them probably like a week before release to somewhat gauge people's thoughts on the price. And while you're in here, I'll just go full screen for now because I'm talking and explaining. Let me get this link. That's a YouTube link. Like this link. I want people to wish list the tool with this link right here, and like let me know general questions. And one of them is being like, what is your like idea of price that you'd want for this tool? How's it going, Game Expertise? Welcome to the stream. Right now we're talking about a tool that I'm working on. I'm not gonna go into full explanation mode, but to quickly summarize, it's like a better, more improved macro creator. It like makes macro creation much faster in DaVinci Resolve Fusion. So that's what we're currently talking about. And Chad was asking about like, will it cost money? Like, will I be charging for it? And yes, I will be. And I just said, go and let me know with that link that I put, the Bitly link. If you like some general questions about you, your business, what you want it for, how important it is to you. There's a small little demo in there as well to like, if you haven't seen it before, give you a little demo about it being used. I got the idea from Orson Lord and his wish list forum thingy that he did for his Snap Pod, which is amazing, by the way. I want to get that, but wait until I get some more money to actually get it. I just spent $30 on Mr. Alex Tech's Magic Zoom. But anyway, back to the price of Macro Creator. There's going to be multiple options to get it, so don't worry if you don't want to pay like the probably a little bit large price for the full version. I keep seeing email and I keep thinking, ooh, I have to look. I will have a light version, which is going to have a lot of the tools to make macro creation faster still, but it won't have some of the more premium tools. Like you won't be able to reopen previous macros. You won't be able to export for reactor. No, I think that might actually still be in there. Yeah, but you will have tools like bulk adding controls, reordering controls, adding I think labels slash like the nesting labels, and adding separator lines. But I think most of everything else will be stripped, and it's really just there to like give you an introduction and like let you see what you can get if you do end up getting the full version. And this one, I'm debating either between making it really, really cheap, like $5 to maybe $20. I'm still figuring that out. I'm also going to narrow down that price as I get to finishing everything and like figuring out all the features that will go into it to see like, okay, what will this be worth to people who are going to get it? And I know a lot of people like to get things from Resolve for free. I have a bunch of free stuff in my shop. I'm not opposed to giving stuff away for free. And I wanted this to be for free, but a lot is going into this and it is doing a lot more than I was first expecting it to. So I've come to the decision after consulting some people that it needs to be priced at some higher rate. But there won't just be those two options. If you still want the full priced thing, but you don't want to pay the full price right off the bat, I will have like membership options. There will be two tiers: a monthly support meeting membership option, which gives you monthly meetings with me to talk about problems you're experiencing with the macro creator, general macro help, or like talking about ideas about macros that you or your business is working on. And then there is going to be a weekly version of that as well, to where you have the option to meet with me weekly to get consistent talks with me about the same sort of stuff. And I think the monthly version of that is the best bargain for anything that I'm going to be selling, because essentially 1 year on the monthly plan is the same price as paying for the full price tool. So that's just like, I think that's probably the best option, and a lot of people are probably going to go for that. So if you don't want to pay full price for the tool right away, you do have that option to have the monthly meetings with me, and with that you do get the actual tool. So don't worry, you don't have to buy the tool and then buy that. It is a part of the plan for both monthly and weekly. So that's my current plan for when I release the macro creator, because it will do a lot and it will solve a lot of problems, and it is a lot more directing towards businesses than like smaller creators. But that is why I have the light version and the monthly plan, to make it easier for the smaller creator who's just trying to either give things away for free or just learning macros but don't want to have to deal with all the code, to get into it as well. Because I don't want it to be like super isolated to where it's just businesses, because I've been there. I've been in the new person space, and I have hated wanting to go into the code, but you just have to learn how to do it. So I wanted to solve that problem a little bit. Yeah. Any idea? Had a stroke. Is my music not playing anymore? Took me like so long to figure that out. Yeah, please keep playing the music. I hate playlists on YouTube. Yeah, any questions, any comments, concerns? Love to hear your thoughts on that whole plan. Maybe it's a little bit much, but I think I think that's a decent idea. It lays out a pretty good like groundwork and like lots of options for people to end up getting it who don't who aren't sure about it, you know? And I don't want to like fully say this on the announcement video, but the membership plans are cancel anytime, and you do keep access with like to the macro creator. So I guess theoretically you could pay for 1 month and get the macro creator without having to meet with me ever, but I mean you get meetings with me on a monthly to weekly basis, so that is entirely up to you if you want to do that. But I'm not gonna like fully tell everybody that because I'm just like, please stick on to the plan. It's worth your time. You get on meeting like constant meetings with me. I just feel like probably is worth your time, worth your money. I was doing something, but I can't remember what I was doing. I was gonna look at something. Today's video is doing pretty good. We're already up to 60 views, by the way. Not bad about that. Not too mad about that. Last week, our video did horrible. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't label that video well enough, but people were not interested. People had zero interest in it. No, don't worry. The video from earlier today is all about buttons. No, dude, Magic Zoom. I was on. I was in that stream. Obviously, you know, I was called out. People were like, "Hey, how's it going? Don't you do the SEO and tags and all that?" I do the SEO. I do the SEO tags and everything, but YouTube is weird. The tags don't mean a whole lot anymore. It's mostly like, does your title and thumbnail actually get the interest of your audience? And does it like fully explain what your audience is? If it doesn't, then you're in video hell. Sorry. Like if you don't have an audience for that video, or if it's not a huge audience, and within like the first hour or so that YouTube tries to send it out to people, they will immediately flatline your progress and stop any interactions from happening. It's very sad. Like I got maybe like 20 views for this video in the first like I got like 30 views in the first 2 hours. I'm looking at the stats right now. And then after that point, very few people started clicking on the video because most of that was my audience to begin with. A lot of you guys watched it in the first 2 hours. After that point, there's a flat line, and then a small climb again, and then a long flat line, and then a small climb again, and now we're in another flat line. It's just up and downs a lot. It's just how the cookie crumbles. But you know, I have Magic Zoom, and it's really cool. I have not gotten a chance to play with it a whole lot. I started to really pay attention to my tags, titles, and keywords. And keywords, titles, and like in description tags matter quite a bit. But the actual like tags that you put like in the tag section of the video don't have much of an impact on YouTube as they used to. It might help a bit for new channels, but in reality, I haven't really found it to be all too useful. It's been about the same interactions with and without all the same tags. Like I started out my tags being like all 500 characters are going to be filled and it's going to be very detailed. I'm going to be including keywords like Casey Ferris, Mr. Alex Tech, and like big names in the industry. But that didn't help. And when I changed it, nothing really changed that much. So I didn't really notice a huge difference on it. As long as you make your video, one, interesting. It has to be an interesting topic to begin with. And then it has to have a good title and thumbnail to like grab the attention of the viewer. Because my last video, I feel like the title and thumbnail just did not live up to the hype of the actual video. Like the video itself, I feel like the content is fairly good, but it's just not what people want to like click on. And I've changed the title of this video multiple times. And I do this a lot. If you haven't noticed before, I change my titles and thumbnails very often. Because I want to try to appeal to whatever audience wants to look at the video. In the first hour, I'll have one thumbnail. And then I guess maybe sometimes it's longer than an hour. In like the first day or two, I'll have one thumbnail. And then I'll look at my impressions, I'll look at my views, I'll look at the traction that I'm getting, and if things are slowing down, I'll change the thumbnail and title a little bit, and then see how that goes from there, see if it helps it. And sometimes there's no helping it. Sometimes you're just a lost cause for that video. Like the last video, it's gotten some more interactions recently, but it's still kind of in the drain. Yeah, in the last 48 hours, it's got 11 views, which is not good for a video from a week ago. It has 136 views. This is a bunch of random details you guys don't necessarily need to know, probably care too much about. But it has 136 views versus the week before that has 569 views. Then the one before that has 418 or 481 views. So it dropped a lot. It did not do well. You're interested to hear the LX? I'm glad. I'm always in the thought process of like, oh, the viewers don't really care. But I think a lot of my viewers are YouTubers. Like, I think I saw your channel pop up on my recommended page the other day, Chad. 10K? Dang. In my dreams. I to be fair, my videos don't hit a large audience. But I don't think it's 500 people. I think there's more than 500 people who'd want to watch my stuff. But it's just not being sent to them. Or they just don't have a particular interest in the video at that time. That happens a lot too. Like, I don't know if you've ever been on YouTube, but you know, like you go into the video and, or like you go on your recommended page and you're like, oh, you know, I do want to watch that video, but right now I'm just not interested. Like right now I'd rather watch like an entertainment video. And then you're just like, well, darn, I'll never see that video again in my life. And it's just gone. You had to stop worrying about it and just do it. I actually recently dropped my plan with vidIQ. I do kind of still like it, but at the same time, it just kind of like showed you the same analytics that you already had, and the AI stuff you can do for free with other sites and stuff. Yeah, no, my best viewed video has a good. It's the fix boring titles with these easy text effects, which I totally stole from Mr. Alex Tech video. I went to his channel and was like, what's his most popular videos? And one of his most popular videos was like, fix boring titles or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to take that. that's YouTube gold. But I have almost 2,000 views with that one. Pretty good. 102 likes too. But also, as every video gets eventually, I got a good 3 dislikes. Yeah, my channel is, I feel like, growing fairly slowly compared to what it could be. But also, it's only been like two months since I've actually started posting frequently. And I mean, like, I'm already doing multi-hour live streams with like 2-3 people in the chat just talking with me. It's really nice. The mobile app is more worth it to you. I think I downloaded it, but didn't really look into it because I was like, it looks like a really dumbed down app. I'm getting things all over my... I'm getting messages all out my butt right now. What's going on? Five Dot Studios, if you're in the chat, thank you for the... thank you for getting some products off the website. Super cool. Super cool if you did. I think I just got another response to the Google form. Let's go. Was I saying something before, or were we just generally talking about about stuff? My brain was just like, oh. Ah, yes, it was Chad. You were the one who posted the response to that in the forum, or in the form. The quality that you provide is going to help in the future. Most people are just dabbling with stuff. When they catch on to creating their own things, you will be the go-to guy. I appreciate that. I do really appreciate that. I like how I'm being the macro guy, and I hope that I will become like the go-to macro guy in the future, because macros aren't taught anywhere. Like some people like Patrick Sterling and I think Mr. Alex Tech has taught that stuff before, but not detailed videos going over a bunch of the like more complicated things, and not the by the way, I'm fiddling with this pen now. I don't know why. And not like everything about macros, because after I make all these videos, I'm gonna make like a mega video that's gonna be like the go-to tutorial for macros. It's gonna have all the videos compiled together into a multi-hour video with timestamps where everything is, so it's gonna be really easy to find everything. So it's gonna be just a one-stop shop for everything macros. I'm probably, even with that video release, probably gonna release like either something on my website, or like a PDF or something that's like a macro guide with a bunch of commonly used expressions and Lua code for buttons and other various things, and like uncommon but hard to find like user controls. Like you can make separators really quick and easy that is not anywhere easily found in the like edit controls option. And there's also things like you can add a text box that will like show up text in there, and it will look like you're looking at like a text editor for like Lua code, and it will make editing Lua code really easy for your buttons and stuff. And there's ways to like link back to that, and it's crazy easy stuff like that. You'd asked Patrick to make these types of videos, but he kind of pushed it off and said Casey Ferris is going more in that direction with his Fusion course. He might be. Casey doesn't really teach macros that well, or not that well. I'm sure he could do a good job, but he just doesn't. He's a lot more motion graphics, and that's what, either motion graphics or VFX. That's what his audience wants. His audience is very much, what can Fusion do, and how do we do it? Not how can I make my own thing, and like how can I make it look cool and make it the best. And like what's best practices for making your stuff. Not really like how can I make my own thing and make it branded, make it look cool, and make it do like really fancy things for users. Like I think if Alex posted a like 3-hour long macro tutorial, I mean, for one, I'd be cooked. I would no longer need to exist, but also people would flock to that video because he makes amazing macros, and hearing from him would definitely get people to like want to watch that video for sure. To be fair, most of what I know about macros I've learned from his macros, because when I was first learning, I saw his stuff, thought they were fantastic, and dissected them. And that's how I know most of what I know now. I've also recently done that with Jake Whip's editors collection, because it's also really cool stuff. And I'm also going to be breaking down Magic Zoom as well, to figure out how he does some of the stuff he does in that, because his buttons do some magic, some actual black magic wizardry, and I want to figure out how that stuff's done. A lot of what I know, I just dig around long enough and I learn it. That's not ideal for everybody, but that's what I know how to do, and then I can regurgitate that information for you guys. You think Casey has one macro video and Alex might one kinda also. You're definitely the YouTuber making macro videos. Yeah, there's not a lot of us out there. And same thing for like Lua scripting. People don't do a whole lot of that stuff. Yes, Alex is making some amazing stuff. And the preview for the Magic Zoom was crazy, but his like 2-hour live stream went from, oh cool, Magic Zoom effect to, what is this witchcraft? It went like that pretty fast. Yeah, that's very true. His stuff is very much customize it. Good luck. Does his stuff have a tutorial for it? Let me pull in my logo here and just look at this for a second. Like, does he have like a tutorial button on his macro ever? Or is it just like, find the tutorials somewhere on YouTube? Ooh. Let's see, let's pull this in here. Is that Zelda still? I think it is. It's very loud out of my headphones. Thankfully I'm not wearing them or else I'd be actually screaming. I feel like I still kind of am, but I feel like I have to because my mic is super low. So I don't blast the editing software. So I will keep looking for this, but I do want to give a little story. A few videos back, actually one that had... was it the first macro tutorial? It might be. Was it this one or the one before this? I don't remember. Yeah, Magic Animate 3. So, I've been complimented on my animations before. This was somebody, I think, from the DaVinci Resolve Discord. All my animations that I do, besides the screen animations, sorry, my voice gets harder to use pronunciation the longer I talk. But besides my screen animations, everything is done with Magic Animate. Because it's just, I find it super easy. Let me see. Does Magic Animate have a tutorial button? There is a how-to button. Yeah, there's how-to. With his tutorial for V3. Yeah, it's there. I'm sure it's still not user-friendly in the slightest, but you know what? Would it be valuable to you guys if I did a tutorial on Magic Animate and Magic Zoom? No, that's very true. I do have water over here. I was waiting for the ice to melt some. Like, I do want to do a workflow tutorial for me. Like do a whole video like showing how I do my videos in the somewhat near future. Maybe when I hit 500 subs, which could be a month from now, for all I know. Unless Alex talks about me again, who knows? But I do want to do like here's how I do my videos, and I show my screen animator that I've made. I show how I use Magic Animate, and I'll probably show Magic Zoom in there too, along with making like project presets, because I use project presets for all my stuff, and I also use a few other like external softwares to help organize and make things really nice and easy for me. That would be very valuable for you to give a call out to the other YouTubers, show their tool and how to use it. Yeah, definitely. Like I use, I mean, I can quickly show you guys real quick. I use a few different external softwares. Hello? Oh, right. I use this one app called Post Haste, which is really, really basic. It literally just lets you generate folder structures. So all of my videos, I have a YouTube template for. I select the name. I just make whatever name it is. I'm on video 10 of my Fusion tutorial series. So it's 10, and then I have a dummy name for the video. I have a default, just default gives you the date. Then I press create project and I can put it in whatever I want. And then I can just open it up. Well, it opens it up for me, but when I create it, it creates something that looks a little bit... This is not where it is. a little bit like this. This is my one from today's video. It's got a media folder, folders for all the media, well, media as in like visual, I guess. It's got an audio folder, a general graphics folder, which nothing usually goes in this folder. This folder is just for putting stuff into Resolve, and I'll get to how that works in a second too. This is just a rough overview of how I do my videos, in case you're curious. I have like an exports folder where I dump all my junk into. I have multiple versions of thumbnails. I have DRXs because I export things. I make all my thumbnails in DaVinci, by the way. Fun fact about me. I'm weird. But I make all my thumbnails in DaVinci because it's fast. And I don't do a whole lot of crazy stuff with my thumbnails. Plus I have the effects manager that I created a while back, and I've been using that for everything. Yeah, I have multiple versions. All my thumbnails are too big to be put directly onto YouTube, so I then put it into a compressor online and just compress the file. And Bob's your uncle. But after I get the folder structure, I open up another software. It's called Superbins, which I do want to do a whole video over Superbins, because this is an amazing tool that I don't use it to its full extent, and I really should. But this lets you populate a project with folders, and it creates bins, and it imports media as you're filling in those folders. Or you can drag and drop media into this drag and drop spot, and you can put it into the correct folder, and it will go into the correct bin and just make a copy of that file in the file locations. It's so cool. And this is how I keep making all my videos super fast. This is how I organize my stuff really quick and easy. Like, let me show you my new video from today. Yeah, William Justice. Amazing tool. I ended up buying the full thing, and I recommend everybody do that because it is worth it. This is my thumbnails timeline, by the way. I have a thumbnails timeline and I have a main video timeline. Thumbnails timeline exists because it needs to be a 720p aspect ratio. And that's just how I make all my thumbnails. I just have a bunch of layers. And then my videos are in here, and if we hide power bins and smart bins, this is the same folder structure that you saw in the actual folders. So it just imports everything into here. Thumbnails are weird because they usually mess up the folders, and I usually have to like move things around manually, put it into the graphics folder. And like this is where usually like thumbnail files go, where different graphics on the stuff go. Yeah, I make all the thumbnails I do in DaVinci Resolve. Here's the one from today, a different version of it, and then this is the stream, different version of the stream. And I make my stream thumbnails at the same time as I make my regular thumbnails, just because it's easier, and I usually want to like keep the look of it generally the same, to like help people be like, oh, I just watched this video, oh, they're streaming right now, let's go watch their stream, and it has the same sort of thumbnail, so it's got to be like answering questions about the video, which I do if you want to ask any questions about that. But yeah, everything's done in here. I made like any of the elements you've seen, like the Fusion page, the node, the edit page icon, all of that I made in Fusion. I just traced it. Like edit page icon, the Fusion page, the live icon's also made in Fusion. The node is made. Macro button, which is broken in the preview. I always just grab a still and upload it. I have to compress it. No, mine, my videos are in 4K, but I make these in 720p, and they're still too big. These are like, let's see, how big are these videos? These photos? These are like just over 2 megabytes, and I think like the limit is exactly 2 megabytes. So I always have to compress it to like some kilobit size, and I have to upload it like that. It sucks. It's just an extra step that I don't want to have to do, but I have to because YouTube's a dick. But yeah, and I have like the node square and the node arrow separate. My text is just a simple text one that I keep dragging and dropping to keep reusing the same text effect. with slight changes. Oh, I don't need this in my thumbnail files. And I have like arrows and cross throughs, checks, the logos, and that's the curved arrow that you see in some thumbnails. What? It forces me to make it 1920. No, not 1920. What is this? What's this resolution? Timeline settings. 1280 by 720. It forces me to make it into that size, because it says that it won't accept an 18 or 1080p file size. It gets mad at me whenever I try that. I don't know why. It's so weird. So I do have a question for you though. Let me go into this other file. Let me just go into here. That's so weird. Mine forces me to use the 720. Spoilers. You can't see that yet. You didn't say anything. Ignore Patrick Star. You didn't say anything. Yeah, let me delete this and add a new one. So I've made all of my animations, like for my videos when I zoom into something or have something pop out of the screen. I use this single macro, which is still in development, but I want to have it more released. Like, so my plan is to make a whole toolkit for users to download a bunch of tools similar to the editor's collection and other things like that. And just they have a bunch of tools in one DRFX they can just install, and it's all ready to go for them. And I still want to do that, but I want to maybe release a few of these individually as well, because I know people don't want to get the whole thing, because it's going to be, I don't know, $40 in the future, who knows. And I maybe want to release some of these as like individuals for maybe like $5. Something, all right, something fairly cheap, but also like, hey, I still want to make a little bit of money off of it. Because I did spend a while on this, and I still want to add updates to this. But this is how I make all my animations. This is how I do all of my screen animations. There's one tool. And the updates are going to include adding a few animation features, adding a few other things to animate, and adding a presets tab that will have presets for gaming editors, like live stream editors, DaVinci Resolve tutorial creators, and any other ideas I think of. But like, you can do full screen zooms, zooming into a certain position, really quick and easy. You can have a mask, which you definitely need to have the fusion overlay on for. And you can have it, you know, whatever size you want. You can use the on-screen controls to like change the width and height and everything. And then you can do outside mask one's transform, do a scale up and change the position of that pivot. And then you can have a really quick pop-in animation. You can put it over a little more to make it more in the middle of your screen. You can make your background blurry and darkened. You can add like a color overlay for it if you want to make it like a different color, but that's always, you know, really use cases are very minimal for that one. But like, you can do like crazy stuff like this. This was originally created in mind because I was originally doing live streams, like gaming live streams on an old channel. Not, I guess, sort of like the DVE macro, but the DVE macro is more of like a 3D moving kind of simulator. This is more of like just a zoom in effect for multiple different places. Okay, that's, oops. like what was I saying? Oh shoot. Right, this was originally made with gaming like gaming streamers in mind who edit their videos and re-upload them, because originally I had, do I still have it? I do. I had the Twin Masks plugin, which has a, if we open up our overlay, a top left, a top right, and bottom left. There we go. And then recenter. I had this for like webcams, like how my webcam is right now on the top left. I designed this for webcams so you could zoom into webcams and like enlarge them. And this was a much simpler version. I don't have a lot of features. Things don't hide and show. Everything's just kind of into one spot. And you can do a lot more crazy stuff with this other one too. Like everything starts out by using the master animations, and then you can unlink each individual animation to give it its own animation engine, so that you can set its speed or offset or curves to be whatever you want. And it's all like you can have super different unique animations, stage animations for each individual thing. So like you can have one mask pop in, and this is currently not functioning how I want it to, but you can also have another mask, which each mask is like, mask 1 is the one on the bottom of the layers, mask 2 is the one on top, and then mask 3 is on top of that. Which I want to have the option to also like blend in the opacity of the mask, so like it'll like fade in instead of just being there. Because at the moment it's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be, I want it to like blend in. That's how I actually have the other one set up. I just forgot to add that feature when I was making it. So I want to be able to like, you can have multiple masks and that can pop up at different different points in time. And also you can full screen zoom into the mask if you want to, because the mask, like this is going over the mask is, so like you can zoom into the mask and go into like a certain position or whatnot. You can even do like reset everything. If you've ever watched Peej, Peejant, is that how you say his name? I have no idea. I've never actually said his name out loud. But if you've ever watched Peej, he does sort of this sort of thing. I'm going to try to recreate it real quick. He zooms into his inspector, and then he has like a mask or something go into, let me disable this for now, going over into the actual preview, the video preview, and he puts them side by side. Yeah, Peejant, yeah. Yep, that's right, Chad. He puts them side by side. I'm gonna do a rough mask. So let's turn that back off. Turn that back on, and then he like enables outside. This is if you're using mine, I guess. And then we can move it over, move it down. Now it's side by side. And if we were to have this as its own mask as well, we could put it behind it. Like if we inside masked this on mask 1 and then masked this on mask 2, we could do like a different layered thing and, you know, replicate what he does whenever he does his tutorials. It's super easy to do with this. I just didn't do it right to demonstrate it to you. But yeah, like you can do some crazy stuff with this. And I'm going to have a bunch of presets in the form of like buttons in different categories for different types of creators, so it's really fast and easy to like remake looks, and like each option will be enabled. Like if the mask is enabled, it'll enable the mask, and then it will have the drop down open, and it will have, you know, this option turned on, and so on and so on. So like you can look over here and see what's turned on, and then be like, okay, this is what I have to change when I go to customize my effect. I feel like the mask may not always be exactly what your layout looks like, and you have to like slightly change it, or like the position may not be exactly where you want it to be, so you have to like slightly change that, stuff like that. So I want to release this on its own, maybe after I add a couple other features to it. Like when I zoom in, you can also stage and have multiple pivot points. So we can start out looking over here, This is similar to Magic Zoom, but there's a lot more features in the terms of like this is designed for just screens, I guess. Screens of like a screen recording or a live stream, I guess. Gaming stuff. You can start over here. You can enable pivot animation, and you can move it over here. The really only way to use it, ideally, is then unlinking the animation, finding where you want it to start animating. Like let's say 5 seconds in. That may be a little bit too far out, so we'll go back. Oh yeah, you can also disable out because that'll also break it. Find where you want the animation to start. It'll zoom into there and then zoom over to there. And then when it gets to the end, it'll zoom back out. But if you want it to, you can also zoom back out to the original spot. So it'll zoom there, back to this first spot, and then back out. I want to then add a third stage to where you can have the option to do a third position as well instead of just going back and forth. Because I want that to be like, it's really helpful to do that, right? To have 3 different stages of animation. And it's all within this one effect. You may not always like that. It may be easier to use like multiple either generators or what am I looking for? Adjustment clips to do the same thing, to like visually see it in your timeline. Like some different effects do that, like from Mr. Justin Edits has something like that. The Magic Zoom has something like that built into it. But I mean, this is just how I make my own videos. This is just how I like to do it personally. The controls are maybe a little bit messy, and that will be fixed in an update, but I definitely want to release a version of this because I've already had Mr. Justin Edits has already been like, hey, this looks really cool. Is this released yet? Can I get this? Not yet. I do want it to be released though, and I'm going to make a whole tutorial for it and stuff. But it's not finished. But yeah, let me know if you want that to be released soon. Like, do you want that to be released in its current state, or like wait for maybe a couple of updates? Like to get the pivot points in there, the mask opacity in there, and then the presets are going to happen later on, because that's going to be a second or two before I can make that happen. And this is also, this is 24 frames a second timeline. So if you edit in 24 frames, I mean, you just saw it. It plays back pretty much in full time. Yeah. We have it playing back in full time for just like the basic zoom like that. This timeline's a 60 FPS timeline. Oh, spoilers. Let's just bring in this. Mute that. No worries, X. Feel free to watch it whenever. This is going to be, like everything else, it's going to stay up later. But if I were to bring in my effect into here. Oh, turn it back on. And let's enable, by the way, this works for any frame rate. Like, it just uses seconds, so it will work no matter what frame rate you're in. So if we enable the animations, maybe enable a mask, just do random stuff just for testing its playback speed. Playing it back in a higher FPS, it will be slower, but it will still play. Like, it's not going to be choppy. It's just going to run at a lower frame rate than it usually would. It's just going to be a little slow, like it's going through like molasses. But that's just because I can usually barely get 60 FPS to run when I make my own videos. Like, if you haven't noticed, my videos are actually in 4K 60 FPS. So they're pretty intense. they're very hard to play back in full speed to begin with. Even with like a text plus node, text plus effect, slows this crap down. Why 60? I don't know. I like the high quality. I want you to see all the gaming action of me editing in DaVinci Resolve. I don't know. I just chose 60 when I first started making videos, and I'm just like, yeah, 60 seems good. 60 is a good speed. I think my stream's in 60 too. Like, I think my streaming setup is also in 60. Let me actually see. Yeah, 60 is very... 60's... Yeah, 60 in video is definitely not ideal. Yeah, but yeah, my streaming is going to be in 60. Yep, it's set up for that. I like doing 60 FPS recording and editing because I'm weird. I think 30 is probably the smarter option. I just don't. I don't know. I might switch to it down the line because I might get tired of doing 60 FPS because it never runs right. But yeah, I might switch to 30. I come from the gaming world and I really liked having as fast playback as possible. I don't come from the gaming world. I've done like live streams that got like 10 views. Don't quote me on anything when I talk about gaming. My streams were popular with me and my friends, and that was pretty much it. I do know some camera stuff, but I've not actually had the practice on a camera that much. The job I'm currently at pretty much promised me that I'd be learning camera stuff and I'd be doing camera work. But then after they hired one other person, I was immediately stuck to a desk forever. And I've never been able to work at a job site ever after that. It sucks. Like I was promised I was gonna learn all these things. I was gonna learn a lot more about cameras and like get a hands-on practice. And then I was trapped into a desk and made to be their sole graphics editor. I am the the motion graphics person for the video company I work at, and nobody else knows Fusion. So if I quit, they're on the decline. But that's enough about me. Yeah, I have some thoughts on my current job. It's given me a great opportunity to hold all the power with motion graphics and like learn motion graphics and like really delve into it, and it has helped me doing this YouTube series and this YouTube channel. It's really helped me like be in the mindset of motion graphics to do a fusion based YouTube channel. But like I wanted to do camera stuff, and I was kind of feels like I was kind of lied to about it because they promised me I would be doing camera stuff, but then I wasn't. But now I'm here. I'm still working at this place for now, but once I start either getting some attention in other places and getting some more money coming in regularly, maybe after the macro creator releases, after I start getting some income, we'll see if that job survives. Because I mean, like when I'm here, I can make my own motion graphics. I can edit my own videos. I use a webcam right now, but I'll be using my own cameras and all sorts of stuff. So like I'll get the same experience, but working on my own. Plus, I do stuff that they don't even want. Like I script, I do coding. The macros I make, they do want some of them, but the more advanced stuff, like the screen animator here, they don't really care about too much. Like I've shown them Magic Animate, and they just don't use it. They're so stuck in their keyframe ways that they don't even care. Yeah, it doesn't help that a lot of the guys there are not tech savvy. So whenever I try to like talk tech about stuff, their eyes go gray and they start drooling a little bit. I mean, yeah, like yes, everybody can do camera stuff, but they wanted somebody in the office making them money when they were all out on a shoot because if nobody's actually producing anything, then what's the point? Yeah, like I've tried talking to them about it. They just want somebody in the office to make stuff, make them money, because this is a relatively small studio. This isn't like a big company I'm talking about. There's like, how many of us are there now? There's me, boss man, that guy, that guy, that guy, that person. Maybe eight, 7 or 8, or maybe nine. What year is it? I am 24. Pretty young. I'm a pretty young whippersnapper. Sorry, I had to. Did my song stop playing again? Like wait for 2 seconds. Yeah, I mean, I, I'm okay with doing video editing stuff now, but I would really want to really delve into using like high quality cameras and stuff to like get more practice in that. Doing that at 24 is really going to give you an opportunity to create a business and be in. Sorry, the heart is covering it up. Be in an amazing position before you were 30. Honestly, I already have like I've talked and like consistently talk with like four larger YouTubers, like Orson and Jake, um, and recently Alex, and another one that we'll be talking about later, another day. Uh, and like that's a pretty good like place to be in for my age. I feel like I'm 24. I'm talking with larger creators, working like with them and for them, making my own stuff on YouTube, making my own presets and like really pretty good quality presets. I feel like yeah, it's good practice that I have the behind the scenes work with a studio with an actual company. And that did help me get a lot of my knowledge. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten into macros if I didn't work at this company. I wouldn't have even gotten into Fusion if I didn't work at this company. Cuz like I did some motion graphics with After Effects beforehand before I convinced them to switch to DaVinci. And then I had to learn Fusion, and that was a whole learning process. And it took maybe like I don't remember. This has been like 3 years ago. It was maybe like a couple of weeks that I like actually started getting it, and even then, I still took a while. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm 24 and I pretty much have a business set up for making scripts, macros, and doing commissions slash freelancing for other people and businesses. So like, I think I'm in a pretty good spot personally. I wish I could be doing some other stuff like camera work, but I mean, if I can just make what I need to make behind this chair, I don't really care. Hey, that rhymed. I do offer freelancing in the terms of like video production as well, but that's more of like, hey, does your business or do you and then you're like, I don't know, do you like make music or something and want like a video? I can make a video for you for, I don't know, a price. I don't really have that calculated out in my head right now, but yeah, stuff like that. I do a bunch of freelance and stuff for a bunch of different people. Did I finish doing the macro review? Like was there other stuff I didn't talk about? Just quickly swinging back to that. Now that we're like in a small little lull in this conversation. Did I ever finish that review? Is Slave List still in here? I think I'm in the background of somebody. I think I'm in either on mute on somebody's browser, or I'm in the background while they're doing something else. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Did you want to keep asking questions about me or macros or anything? I'm down to answer any questions. I'm pretty open about talking about stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. As long as you're here, that's all that matters to me. As long as you're just here to hang out, hear what we are talking about, that's cool with me. You have a simple question about one you've made? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I think you enter too early. I do that all the time. Or there's actually, isn't there like a character limit? I think there is. Hold on, let me have to. The stupid chat box adds like that little heart icon that you guys can see in the bottom right of the chat box for you. It adds that for me as if I'm gonna like press that for my own video for whatever reason, and there's no way to get rid of it. Oh, there is. I can get rid of it. But yeah, it like blocks half of the chat sometimes. I can't get rid of it. That's crazy. Okay. Let me readjust real quick. You get to see my knee a little bit, maybe? No, you can't. It's just off screen. You have a sub button that turns to particles and goes off screen to the side. Didn't take into consideration that when I resize it on the edit page, it would then shrink it to the dimensions of the 4K video size. Can I add a resize to the overall macro that will allow it to match the video resolution after being resized down? Can I add a resize to the overall macro that would allow it to match the video resolution after being resized down? Can you clarify that? I think I know what you're trying to say, but I might need some more clarification. My brain's working at half speed. It's like 9:30 for me. And I've been working at the YouTube and other stuff, secret projects, besides the macro creator today. Now resize in the edit page, I have to resize the video resolution of the drag and drop title. When you say resize in the edit page, are you using like this resize, or do you have a like transform node that you're using to change the size, like these? Oh, did you answer your own question? Oh, it does. I didn't set up. I have to resize from the zoom function as I didn't set it up correctly with the transform node. I'm still a little bit hung up on you have to resize the video resolution of the drag and drop title. Like you go over here to image and you have to like change this. So is that what you're saying? Like this isn't setting up correctly? You have to change the size of it from going under video than using zoom. Going under video? What? My brain. Like, I'm assuming you're talking about this zoom. I mean, I would just suggest retroactively going back into your macro. Like, let's take title here from Sleeveless from before. Let's say that he didn't have a macro in his, or a transformer node in his. You can expand it in various ways. In fact, I'll just show it to you the old-fashioned way because I don't think you have the macro creator. But we can open it up in a text editor. Up at the very top, we can change this to group. I think you've seen my video about this already. I've already mentioned this in a video before. We can copy it and paste it back into here, and now we can have a group version. And then we can click on your last node and add a transform node. And this won't be in your controls list, but you can then close this and copy it, paste it back into your text editor, and up here in your controls list, you can look for wherever you want it to go. We'll just put it at the bottom of the inputs list. There's quite a few here because there's a lot of hidden controls. Here we go. And we can just do instance input for transform 2 and take all of the controls that we really want. So we'll take the same information here. We'll change this to just be XF main center. Source OP is just transform 2. The source would be center. And we can ignore page because it's just going to default to the main one. And then do that for all of these. And then you can get your transform controls onto your macro. Which I don't know. Yeah, they're over here because that's how macros work. Macros will always, yeah, it's like if one control has a page set, every control after that, even if there's no page set, it'll just go to that control page. And then you get like center, and then you can get, copy this to get size. And copy and paste this. Oh my god. Oh, thank you. I said a lot there, but it's like such an Alex Tech thing to do. Essentially, I was saying I'm probably going to do a whole video going over what I did there, breaking down every part of a macro in the code sense, like showing like this is where the inputs are, this is basically your controls list, this is the outputs, this is all the nodes it makes up, you can add user controls onto the macro itself down here at the very bottom, and this is how they're laid out. So like really breaking down what you can do with the code and how to read it, because it is confusing, especially if you're like looking at it for the first time and you're just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, there's certain things like certain effects will get cut off if they're not made correctly. Like this is being cut off there because it is in the full size timeline, and drop shadows will always no longer exist outside of the frame of your image. But if you were to scale up, because like so many controls, jeez. If you were to like scale up the image, like this image here, and then scale it down later on, it won't lose the information because that information still exists. But if you're creating the image like with a shadow or with a background, and you try to go outside of the bounds of something, and then you scale it down later on, you won't retain that information. Like if I get a fusion comp out here just to test it, get this a little closer because I'm probably really quiet. Did I just get a comment from Mr. Justin Edits on my on that video? I did. I did just get a comment from Mr. Justin Edits. How's it going, buddy? How's it going? That's another creator I'm talking to, but spoilers on that project. So like if we were to take a generator or image generator, the background here, and let's just say, just for an example, we have another background that is set to a smaller resolution. And this one needs to be transparent just so we can see what we're talking about. And then we try to scale down. Oh, let's switch the inputs, sorry. This needs to be the background, and then the yellow input. This needs to be in the foreground. We can see this image. We can see on this merge here, this image is taking up much larger space than our background image, so it is being cropped. If we were to take a transform node and size it down, okay, this was a bad example. Certain things will get cut off, other things won't. But generally, if you use the transform options in here, like if you scale this down, no matter what you do in the Fusion page, you will always crop it if you use this zoom or this position, because it's not taking into account everything that's in the Fusion page. It's just taking into account what you see in this box, in this big old box right here. Not really taking into account everything else that's going on behind the scenes. It's just figuring out, okay, what can I see? This is what we're cropping. Which is why it's really important to have your own transform controls built into the macro for customization. Yeah, just like add a transform node at the end, and then add the controls for that. That's what I was trying to show you before in that little muted tutorial. Like add them to your inspector controls, and then you can have all the power you need. Let's reset this. All the power. Yeah. Follow this sort of pattern. Source OP is the node, and then source is the control. Like I said, I will make a whole tutorial going over adding controls, reading all this stuff. Basically building a macro just using the code, because this is also very important for macro makers to understand. Because obviously you can know Fusion like the back of your hand, but if you can't read this, you're not going to be able to like customize your node afterwards, after you've exported it for the first time. And that's not what you want to do. You want to be able to like change things. Like, if you don't know how to read this, then I don't know if you know how to add a drop-down label, like a nest label, like transform is here, or reference size is here. Because you have to do that in here, in the inputs area. This is under inputs. This is at the very top of the controls, or very top of the list of, the very top of the code. That's what I was trying to say. You have the inputs ordered, and then you have all your list of inputs. Figure out where you are. Generally, these are going to say input 1, 2, 3, etc. all the way down. You can figure out where you are by looking at source OP. That tells you what node you're at. And then you can see what control you're looking at too. My macro creator will be able to do a whole bunch of stuff. Like you can select all this, go into the creator. Is this the Master Koga song? Or the Yiga clan? You can add all your controls stuff, and you can also add a label. So we can say master transform, show arrow, and then hide the next, I don't know, 12 controls. Grab the controls we need, bulk add those, and then that is your transform options. Like that's everything from center down to edges. We can then add background 1 for our color. And we can just take the top left section, because that's just the solid color section. And if we wanted to add a line in between that, we can really easily. And then just save it out. And we'll just put it randomly in here. In generators. In here, because why not? And it's saved. And we can go look at that here once it's reloaded, because it may take a second to reload. And I might have to restart DaVinci, because it is sometimes not cooperative. I got a loading screen, or a little loading bar. I don't think it actually did anything. Alright, let me relaunch it. Let me close and reopen it. This happens often. Ugh. I think I have to like force quit it. This also happens a lot. Come on, there we go. Now it's loading. Okay. There we go. So now if we look in generators under my company name and bring in our test, we can see we have the controls over here along with the color. And if we were to bring in a background, we can see the macro creator allows you to insert images into the controls list and into the header of the control or of your node. And at the moment, you can't export, like save an image alongside your macro to create like a thumbnail, but you will when it's released. But this is still a work in progress, and I haven't like taken time to get certain features in there yet because they won't take that long. But yeah, like you can add an image in there, and it will add it as base 64, so you don't have to have the original image file in the same location. You can delete that or whatever you want. It'll just like convert it to like a readable HTML text, basically. But now we can like, change the size of that background and change the color of it. Just like that. We even got a separator in there and everything. And just to show you that you can add the image, I'll just show it to you real quick. If you were to import image, you can select an image from your computer. We'll just choose this dummy image I'll take Jake-Whip. Why not? Just because I worked with them, I'll show it off. Whip logo. And we'll not make it our header image. We'll just keep it in line with the rest of the controls and add. And before we even save it, we can already get a preview of it over here on our selected node, with the one that's in red is the active node. And that is what's going to get your user controls, just like this. And now you can see it. It's going to be in line with the rest of your controls. If you were to grab the transform controls, which I forgot in that other one to actually add the label. You had to press add label. I completely forgot to. But if we add the transform controls, our separator line, if you already have one, it's going to create another one called separator 2. That's why that did that. Then we can add our background. Bulk add that. Test 2. We're going to save it as a group this time. Go to the same place we were at before. Save that. Wait for that to close. Oh, I think it's actually reloading at this time because we are having some hiccuping happening. So now if we go back to the edit page, yeah, it looks like that worked. Go into here, test 2. Now we can see the image is in line with the controls. We can put it anywhere in the controls list. I just had it at the top. Pretty swell. Any other questions about macros or anything of the like? I'm just stalling for time at the moment. And we can also end the stream whenever we feel like we've run out of questions. I generally, like my first stream, I was ending it at like an hour and a half. Last stream I think was either 2 hours or 2 hours and a half. We can end it whenever we really feel like it. It's been a good 2 hours right now. But I will keep going if you guys still have questions. So ask away. It can be about me, macros, YouTube, Fusion, anything. Does not matter. Could even be about the macro creator if you want to. Do you think it is possible to work with the node tool time speed to create speed and slow motion presets to use in clips on the edit page? This node has always been confusing. Or this node, I think you mean, has always been confusing to me. Time speed is weird. It is probably the strangest node to use because if you use it and you use it in the way that it doesn't like, it does some weird stuff. Like let's take even just this image, if we bring it in as a MIDI end node and turn off a loop. Yeah, for one it exists for 1 frame, so let's actually turn back on loop. Now let's just have it exist for like half of the comp. Or not. Or not, I guess. But if you were to use it, I guess let's just use the video because it may be easier to actually show off. Let's crop it so it's like let's make it 100 of the frames. Yeah. So now it's going to stop at 100. Yeah, there we go. That's going to be a better example. If we add a time speed and make this 0.5 speed, if we get past, okay, this is make me look bad over here. Come on. Let's make it faster, I guess. Let's make it 2. Is it really not going to be weird this time? Yeah, let's try doing something else with it. Is it not going to be weird this time? Okay. I've had so many problems with this. I don't know why it's working so flawlessly right now, but it's being so weird. But, like you can, but you will encounter problems in certain situations. If we were to just export this on its own, like we can do that real quick. I don't know why I'm trying to do the regular macro editor. Let's use mine real quick because it's faster. We take the time speed node. And we figure out what controls we want. So we want speed and delay. We'll just bulk add these two. And then we'll just save this as Speedo. We'll save it as a macro and then save it into our effects. Yeah, effects, sure. It saves it. Come on. I think it's reloaded, so that should be good. Yeah, it looks like it reloaded that. If we add it to this, Speedo. Yeah, immediately things are broken. Oh. Oh my gosh. That's because I was a dummy. And when I made the effect, I forgot to do something. Because it wasn't connected straight to the MIDI out node, it didn't automatically select the output, which I expected it to, but I forgot that it wouldn't. So that's my bad. So let's just add that same thing, time speed, or not time machine. Time speed. Connect that straight out to the output. Let's do that again. Correct this time. Now it's selected the output. Grab our speed and delay, add those. Speedo, just like before. Quickly save that again. Make sure we replace that. Wait for it to catch up. Delete that version now. Now if we get it in there, add Speedo. It should be connecting to it. Oh my gosh. I'm so... I remembered to do the output, but I forgot about the input. This is just me not thinking things on the spot. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to. I'm doing things wrong constantly. Sleeveless, what did you miss? We talked a little bit about me, my work, stuff like that in general. We talked, I don't know if you were there for the conversations about the macro creator pricing and everything like that. But recently James had asked about using the time speed node to make like a retime speed for using things on the edit page. But being able to like save it as a preset, because you can't do that with regular like the regular time, the retime speed stuff. So let's do this one more time. I selected the input this time. Third time's the charm, right guys? Let's try that. Wait for everything to do its thing. We may have to restart it this time because it may be tired of me. Nice face. Yeah, I think I may have to restart it this time. Yeah, hold on. It does this to me all the time these days. Like, it restarts like occasionally, and then occasionally just is like, I don't feel like it. This one's faster though, so we should be good. Look at that, we're already loaded up. If I go back to where that effect was saved, add it on there. Now we can actually see everything, and it plays in real time. Let's just disable those. So it is playing in real time. It is just slow because it has an effect that I guess it doesn't expect. Excuse me. If we then make this ×2 speed, we can see it is ×2 speed. Although at the end, it won't like adjust the clip length. It'll just end. Which, I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. It is up to you. No, there's not really a way to like adjust the clip's size really easily. Unless you use like an external script, I guess. But this is a way to get the option to do a time speed effect. And then if you want to, you can use the Jake Whip free. Are time speed and optical flow similar? Let me answer that in a quick second. If you wanted to like save these settings, like if you wanted to do 1.5, delay this by like 0.1 or something. If you really wanted to have like a single frame blip at the very beginning, and then we'll want to save this as a template. We can either make our own saving mechanism in here, like how Mr. Alex Tech does for his stuff, or really easily we can just use Jake Whip's saver, whip remacro tool that I made, by the way. We can copy the node, activate the free script, choose our new name. We'll just say 1.5 speedo, 0.1 delay. Just whatever you want to name it. You can choose a name, an image for it optionally if you want to. Then we can save it to wherever we want. We'll just put it in this folder right here next to where Speedo is. Save that. And we'll see if it needs to restart again, because it might. Nope, it did it. We can delete this Speedo, and now if we go to where we saved it, we have our new version of Speedo with our saved settings. Woohoo! And that is a free template tool script thing from Jake Whip's website. Let me get a link to that for you. Here is Whip Remacro. That is exactly what I showed you just now. Really, really handy tool. I recommend downloading it. I made it. We've had very, very few people have any problems with it. Most of which have just been user problems, like user errors, which no big deal. We just remind you how to use it. Now, are time speed and optical flow similar? I have not used optical flow that much, but let's find out together. I've just made an empty Fusion comp. Let's just bring in our video. Optical flow. It is not playing back in full speed because it hates me. We're also probably going really slow because this is a 60 FPS video and a 30 FPS timeline. It's probably just upset about that. And yeah, it'll do that if it's imported into a Fusion comp. So let's actually do this. I'm just going to take a little section, do a Fusion clip, hop into Fusion this way. There we go. This is going to play back in the correct speed. Yeah. Optical flow. Let's see. What's classic look like? Proxy for tracking. Warp count. Let's do 10. What's that do? Well, that does look slower. It looks pretty similar, but I'm not sure. I don't really know. I'm having a hard time figuring out if it's actually slowing down or not. I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure. I don't really use that node too often. I really just use time speed. Like time speed is like what you'd expect, like to be able to adjust time with. It's usual speed and delay with a couple of other additional options. This I'm not too sure. Any other questions about Fusion, DaVinci, macros, myself, YouTube? I'm an open book. I'll like skip over like super detailed like details, but I'll answer any question pretty much. You have a thumbnail transition saved as a node tree. Is it possible to turn something like that into a macro? What do you mean by thumbnail transition? Like you have an image in your transition? Did my music pause again? This stupid playlist. Last. Last? What did I say that responds with last? Think back. What did I say? Like you have an image in your transition? Is that what you were saying last too? I see your question, then I see last. I have a thumbnail transition saved as a macro or as a node tree. Is it possible to turn something like that into a macro and then your next message is last? And then you're asking me if I can see the above message. Weird. I mean, are you using like naughty words? I don't think I have like any serious like word blocking filters. Using some naughty words over here, Sleeveless. What are you doing? Yeah. If you say things like, a lot of hidden users I did not know I had. Yeah, I have no blocked words. Do you like working with Fusion's 3D tools? They're a little bit hard to use. I feel like there are way easier ways to do 3D. They're really simplistic. The shading and lighting that you can do with them is not as good as they could be. Hopefully they're working on doing like ray tracing, like more realistic lighting for the future and for USD. But right now I'd say meh. I'd say like take your footage and put it into Blender or something and then comp it in there instead of trying to comp the 3D stuff into Fusion. I think it's because you mentioned watching your latest video. Yeah, no, that I could see. Like, that message actually showed up. Yeah, it must not like you trying to plug your own content. I don't know why. Maybe because of bots. That could be it. But I really do feel like 3D is good if you're making a scene solely for 3D. And it's like... Well, I know you didn't mean it like that. Yeah, the 3D tools are very primitive. I have a video actually going all over it, and I make a like 3D text on a brick wall. USD system is looking really cool, but shading and shadows and lighting is just really not where it could be. And obviously, like, you can't make your own shapes and stuff, which, I mean, that's not really what it's made for, I guess, but, I mean, why have a square and a sphere, and, like, you're able to, like, make your own shape, but then you can't mold the shape? Like, why have that as an option in the first place? Who knows? I'm not, I don't work for Black Magic yet, but I don't know. I might one day. Who knows? I am making a new macro creator. They might be like, let's get this kid in here. Your latest videos playlist. Let me actually look at that. I can't just click on your name? That's stupid. Leave this MTG for Magic the Gathering. I have took a peek at your channel before. Okay, please. There, I'm gonna mute this tab so I don't have someone talking as I'm trying to watch this video. Oh, interesting. I look at quite a few people's channels, like especially if you show up in my FYP or not FYP. I'm on TikTok too much. If you show up in my recommended enough times, I'll be like, okay, I recognize your name. Let's go check you out, and I'll be like, this is like, for example, this is what MTG means, because I wasn't sure what MTG meant in your username, and then I looked at your channel and I'm just like, Magic the Gathering. Oh. So I see what you're talking about. You literally take your thumbnail and transition it. Okay, you meant that very literally. Okay. Your last video was 2 weeks ago, man. Come on. Come on, get making videos, dude. I'm kidding. Take as long as you need. Especially for how much graphics you're putting into this, definitely take as long as you need. Because graphics aren't fast to make. I will say, one of the third graphic in your video. Sorry, this is off topic of what your question is. Third graphic in your video is a very blurry screen recording. Oh, you have another channel? Is it your other channel, or do you edit for someone else's channel? Back to your thumbnail question. You could, if... This is definitely a could, but it's a very loose could. Oh, nice. Nice, you're editing for someone else. Do you get paid for it, or is it like a hobby? I mean, this video from 2 weeks ago got 1,000 views. Nice job. People really like Magic the Gathering. And with how much graphics you put into this, people definitely appreciate that. Percentage of what the video makes. Dope, dude. Good job. Make that bank. Yeah, back to your question. Sorry. I'm all over the place today. You could do make that into a macro theoretically if all of your thumbnails follow the exact same template, or maybe there's other things I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. Like if all of your thumbnails had the exact same amount of layers and positioned them in very similar places, and you could do that. People do that quite often. Or you make the ability to change where the zoom point is and have them adjust where they fold out from, but that would take a little bit of expression knowledge and a lot of kooky stuff that I don't know if you know how to do in Fusion particularly. But yeah, basically the same amount of layers is what you would have to have, and you'd have to be able to input them as let me find an example real fast. Do I have one? I do actually have one. Come to think of it. It is Mr. Alex Tech's new tool that I bought today because I don't know how to use money correctly. Magic Zoom does something like what I'm trying to talk about right now. Let me pull this up. So in Magic Zoom and in a few other tools, like I have a few things that do this, you're able to select the actual clip name and like put in different like you're able to like put in different images into here. This, for example, is just to make your image full scale. Like if you were to zoom in pretty far, you would start losing quality. And since this is like a 4K video, this won't work very well because this is a clipped section of it. But like you could put it in there. Yeah, it's not going to work. But you can put it in there and it would like make it full size again. Another example of this is this guy. He did a really awesome grid tool that like has snapping and everything. And you can put in different things for each of these clips. And you can put in your own images. We can snap to grid and it will just like snap all around. But you can do like, if you make your, so you said you make your thumbnails in DaVinci. If you did a compound clip for like each section of your thumbnail, like your two cards that you have at the beginning of this, here, let me actually put this over here. Your two cards, these two guys, I'm assuming they're on two different layers, for example. You could put them into a compound clip and then, by the way, awesome game, Indigo Park, great game. You could put them into one of these spots and then they could be animated at the same rate, just like you have in your thing. Oh, you're laughing because I put you on screen? It's you. It's sleeveless. Bia. Now, have you seen the masking with ease in edit page macro from the Essential Video Editing channel? I've not seen that channel actually before. Let me look that up. I've not seen them before. I like how when I look up YouTube now, this is what just is the default search option. That's great. Let's do this. Essential Video Editing. There you are. I don't think I've seen these guys before. Do I have any watched videos of theirs? None that are recent. I have not watched their stuff at all, it looks like. They got a lot of cool stuff, though. Can't blame them for that. It looks like they post about as frequently, if not a little bit more frequently than I do. Is this what you're referring to? Masking with ease in. Yeah, let's do a search. Ease in edit, or just ease in. Let's just do ease in. We don't need that playing. The mask macro for edit page made by them in free was the best I found. Definitely really cool. I think Sleeveless needs a bit more of like hands-on customized macro for what they're talking about. This definitely is really sweet for doing like a matte on a video. Maybe I'm just not thinking of it. You can do that? Hold on. You can just drag it onto the... What? Pause. We must pause immediately. You can just do that? Hold on. You can just do that. What? That's okay. Well, I learned something new from watching that. Okay. Right? I didn't know you could just drag it into the preview and it would just add the effect on there. That's really cool. Ooh. Not optimized. Sorry. Yeah, you can position it, and then what? What can you do with it after that? I like doing adjustment clips too, but Alex did point out something interesting in his stream today. If you do negative values with adjustment clips, you get some weird effects with like zooms and stuff. What are they trying to do? Do I have full speed on? I do have full speed. I watched a video in ×2 speed because the guy talked so slow. Yes, you can smooth your you can smooth those. Yes. Is this just? Will it work with an adjustment clip if it is selected and not the media? Ooh, maybe. Let me see. Is this? Yeah. Okay. The effect is no longer on either of those. Let me put it on to here. It did. Yeah. It just goes to whatever the top layer or selected layer is. Pretty cool. I'll definitely be using that. I did not know you could do that. It's not necessarily faster, but it's a really cool feature. Well, my background, my empty void of a background. You saw my secret. I have no background image. So is the purpose of this just for like blocking things out? Also, I need to learn how to do this. Toggling on and off certain overlays, like fusion overlays. I need to learn how to do that. I found the code to do that. I have not yet gotten it to work, so I need to like dissect how people do it. What's the point? Like, what is the purpose of it? But it's just on a black background. I'm assuming that's like a transparency. This is going to sound mean, but I don't really see a purpose for this. Yeah, it looks like it is on a transparency. So you could add something behind it in the layer list. I guess it could be helpful. This could be good for some people. Not necessarily for me, though. I can't say I'd ever use this. I don't really mask like this too often. I like how they had that little animation like that. Oh yeah, absolutely, James. I agree with that. I don't know, it's just not necessarily for me. Like, my effect does something similar to that. Like, I have my tool that I showed off earlier, which I think you were here for. My screen utility, which does use masks, and this last one is You can't see it, but it is a actual like polygon mask. This is all the nodes for, by the way. Embarrass me all you want. This is how it works. Yeah, the polygon mask is using a multi-poly. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's using the multi-poly node from 19, which is also partially why this isn't released yet, because it is requiring 19 at this moment. And it's actually bugged. I don't know if it's going to be intended to be used the same way, but when you import the layer list from a multi-merge node, you can rearrange the layers here, and it reflects that in the Fusion page when it's on a macro. And you can also disable them in here as well when it's on a macro. I have that for my effects manager. If I bring this in for my example. Effects manager. I have it down here. You can rearrange these and it will like reflect that. Yeah, like it's reflecting the layers I'm putting it on. But when I tried to do that with the multi-poly node, this was empty, and when you tried to add one of these two, it just wouldn't. It added it in the Fusion page, but then it wouldn't add the preview over here, and it wouldn't add it to your list. It added it to the Fusion page list, but not yours. So I either didn't add it to the macro correctly, or it is bugged and does not work how it's supposed to, or it's not meant to work like that at all. Yeah, no, this is the screen utility. All of these disabled nodes off to the sides that aren't connecting to anything, these are what handle the animations or the user controls or the backend code. This is all the code stuff that I'll be teaching in a video 2 weeks from now. Yeah, this is what it's doing. I'm doing some interesting stuff behind the scenes. But yeah, what I was saying there was, my tool does something similar by having mask options, but it just does a little bit more with it too. Like you can do a little bit more animation with it. And there's a lot of buttons in this, but there will be presets as well. Like I feel like the presets are like the real selling point for this tool, because there's a lot of options. You can really get down to customizing this, but there's also going to be like preset options to like have pre-made positions and settings for every little nook and cranny of this tool, so you don't have to do any like serious work with it. I just thought it was really similar to what they were showing off in that video. That's why I brought that up. Sorry. Did I answer your questions, Laylis, about your thumbnail thing? Because like you can, but you have to have like a little bit of macro knowledge, I think, to make it work how you want it to. But you absolutely could. And if you wanted to have like a call about this one day to like go over like making a structure for it so you can have some idea what you're working with there, we can. We can like schedule a meeting at some point on Discord. Yeah, because there's a lot of like really detailed stuff to like know about this. Really, it's just like, do you know how to use multiple media ends and add those to the macro so you can actually import the images separately as like different layers, and then like layering it and animating it to do what you want. Yeah, could just take a little bit of like teaching. Definitely a teaching moment. And I probably will do stuff like this near the end of my macro tutorial series. As like the big final hoorah. I think I'll make a full macro, maybe from scratch, maybe from a node tree, like an existing node tree. And I'll like show the entire process of animating it for a macro specifically, designing the controls for it in detail and stuff like that. There's just like so much fine tuning each time to use the node tree. So wondering if it were possible or worth it. It definitely is possible, but it would definitely take learning to set it up to be like adjustable for any of your thumbnails, because obviously like thumbnails are always changing. Like this one doesn't even include you in it. Let's see, this one starts, yeah, this one doesn't even start the same way. I'm assuming that you only did this like either once or twice. Yeah, you do it here, which is a super cool way to introduce video, by the way. They definitely tell you that the best practice to do it is yeah, blocking the 3D camera. Yeah. Pretty cool effect there, by the way. Also, is that snap captions? Is this snap captions right here? Snap capping? Yep. I was gonna say, I recognize that animation and that font. Is that the Mr. Beast preset? DaVinci hates your accent? What's your accent? This isn't playing, is it? No. Hold on. I have to hear your accent now. I have to pause the music. Because otherwise I'll scream over it. Alright, everyone, get ready to hear his accent. Southern, okay.
We're playing Simic Toxic. But before we do that, can you like, comment, subscribe? It really pushes these videos out to more people, and it means a lot. Alright, let's talk about Simic Toxic. That's an old combo deck that kind of took the ladder by storm for a little while, but...
Yeah, I mean... Yeah. DaVinci likes my accent, because mine's like... TV accent, I guess. People really like... I have like a Midwest accent, I guess. And that is the like most sought after TV accent, I think. Which also makes me Midwest in the US, sort of like not really the Midwest, but sort of the Midwest, like Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois. That section of the US is like the most sought after accent, I guess. I don't know why. Because I would say there's not like a whole lot of accent in it, but at the same time, obviously I have an accent. Everybody does from wherever they're from. Like accents are a perspective from somebody else observing you. They're not like something you can necessarily observe. Unless you have a really strong accent, and even you can be like, wow, yeah, jeez, I have an accent. Which I guess may not even be possible for some people. Yeah. It's almost always perfect for me too. Part of that is also... the reason why it's not always perfect is because I talk too fast, and my words combine, and the captions don't know how to handle that. So I definitely need to work on slowing down and talking like a regular person. We can get off your face. If you don't want that just plastered on my video or on the stream for a long time. Nimbler. That is an interesting word. Nimbler. What is that an actual word or did you just make that up? Okay. Typos. Yeah, I mumble a lot and I talk too fast. I don't have a wife, but or husband or boyfriend or whatever. Girlfriend. Don't have any of that. Just me. I just talk really fast and mumble. And then my videos are only for people in the US because of that. Because I just can't talk. Yeah, having a significant other is expensive. But also so is like buying equipment and buying new presets and stuff that I keep buying. Lucky me. Let's see what time we got. It is now 10:30 my local time. We started this at 7:30. We've been going for a good while. Good 3 hours now. I'm very proud to have like a community of people who like want to talk with me and like learn new stuff or just ask general questions, hear what the conversation's about. It's pretty cool, you guys. I'm glad to have you all here. Even if you all can't always stay for the whole thing. I'm glad that you guys are like invested in, well, one, learning, and two, me. Obviously, like, I'm not the star of the show, but I am the educator. And like, that will have a draw. Like, people will be drawn to me, I guess, because I educate. But it's not always because of me. It's because of what I teach. By the way, it looks like everyone's been enjoying the questions I've been posting. There's high value in this, and the opportunity is available. One day you'll be so busy you won't have this opportunity. That is very true. That day may be coming sooner than I expect, to be honest with you. I've been sent a friend request from a person named John, who I know is in the Discord, but has said nothing. John, join the stream. Oh, he did actually mention something in the Discord. He just recently posted. Sorry, I'm distracted by messages over here. ADHD. Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah. Well, a bunch. As in like twice. Aw, man, he's being so nice to me. That's so kind of him. I like this guy. I like him. He's being so nice. That's the only reason. No other reason here. Nah, I'm sure he's a great dude. He's being very genuine. I like that. That may be why people are liking me too. But yeah, I think you guys are enjoying the questions and quizzes I'm doing in the community sections. If you haven't looked at the, well, if you watched my recent video all the way through, you've seen the latest on the new, like the next fusion feature to master poll. If you haven't seen that yet, we have one more vote for scripting in Fusion for automation than any of the other ones. For one, nobody wants to learn particle systems. Nobody cares. And then there's one less for both 3D comping in Fusion and advanced macro creation. So I will be doing a series on scripting in Fusion for automation here soon. I couldn't tell you when, but that is going to be in the works. Yeah, particles is pretty heavy. So is 3D stuff. Like, really, scripting and macros is like the most easy thing for people to like do if they have like a lower end computer from all that list. I mean, 3D stuff breaks my current computer, and I have a 4080 with 64 gigs of RAM. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't voted on that poll yet, definitely give me your input. I would love to hear what you want to learn next out of 3D comping, advanced macro creation, particle systems, and scripting in Fusion for automation. Which I'm surprised that there is such a want for that. If you haven't seen this video yet, I have an older video on my channel from before I started to like kind of blowing up as I have been. When I was first talking about anim utility, and it has the best discard changes. What changes? It has the best. You went 3D comp. 3D comping is cool, but like I said before, why am I discarding changes? I'm so confused. Okay, whatever. But like I said before, 3D comping in Fusion isn't great because it's not good looking 3D stuff right now. It's really primitive, as James put it best. It's very primitive and definitely not good by any means. USD probably is better, but there's no built-in way to do like 3D tracking using the camera tracker and use that for USD right now. It's really weird how that's not set up for that same thing. But anyway, like I was saying, my video about Fusion scripting, when I was first talking about anim utility, this is like the third video on my channel, has the best retention out of any of the videos I've posted. It has a 50% retention out of all 20 of my videos. It has the best. 76 of people are still watching. Yeah, no, 3D text is really cool. I definitely do want to do that, but that isn't really 3D comping with that. Like, I'm so shocked at how much retention and how much interest scripting has. Like, people want to know scripting, but there's zero tutorials on it. There's some stuff for Python. There's some stuff for learning Lua as a whole, but there's nothing for specifically scripting for Fusion with Lua. It is so interesting. People want to know this stuff, and I want to teach it, so I'm going to. Yeah, people want to learn about 3D. Yeah, 3D space is big in the anime edits. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Definitely is. Yeah, you had questions about 3D text as well? Interesting. I'll definitely do some 3D tutorials. I mean, it's obviously, like, it's tied up there with macro creation, so I'll definitely be doing tutorials on it. Sorry, I'm reading text now that I shouldn't be. Definitely watch Peach. He does a lot of great stuff for 3D text. The 3D stuff takes a long time though, so a simple tutorial would be hard to make. True. I could do bite-sized tutorials for different effects, like how Peach has done in the past. Unless we want to do more of like an actual full breakdown on like each thing. I don't know. Motion VFX did 5 fusion nodes. You need to know video, I'm guessing, and used it in a really creative way. Like 3D text you're talking about? I've seen motion VFX before, but I don't know. I don't see his stuff too often. Do you mean motion VFX? Is that who you mean? The same company that made that website? You know, there's a lot of people who want Luocode, and I'm very surprised. They made a video? I didn't know they even had a channel, to be honest. I thought I'd watch their stuff, but I think I was thinking of somebody else when you said that. 5 Fusion. They don't post often, it's old. Yeah, I mean, they post multiple times a week, to be fair. But it's a lot of the just, like, their presets. 5 Fusion nodes. Let's just see if that comes up. Ah, yes, I've seen a few of these videos. Yeah. I watched the 5 underrated Fusion nodes in DaVinci Resolve from a year ago. But it looks like you're talking about the one from 3 months ago, it looks like. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching this. I'll check it out. Man, that's a nice camera. I really want a nice camera. Yeah, I've seen, I think, Peach do something like that too. And nodes for 3D scenes. Yeah, yeah, I see that. I'm just talking about Motion VFX's camera. From like this video here. I guess we have to get through the intro. Look at that. It's so pretty. Nice pause face here. Okay. Good enough. Whenever you pause someone's video, it never looks good for them. But like, look how smooth that camera is and everything. Man, wait. You can't see it. Yeah, look at that. So pretty, so smooth. That blur in the background doesn't even look like that's that far behind them. Like I could get that same blur right here. I just need a good camera, man. I'm using a webcam. If I haven't explained that already, I'm using a simple webcam, and it's like a knockoff webcam too. It's like a knockoff of a known brand. I forget the brand name. This brand is called eMeet, and it was like $50 or less on Amazon, and I've been using it for months. I used to use my old Canon camera. Yeah, I want to use a Blackmagic camera. Like the Blackmagic cameras are like a steal. Not gonna lie, they're a steal, but you also have to know how to like color their RAW, because their RAW is really weird compared to other cameras, I guess. Like like for streaming, you'd have to have like a LUT for it or something, unless they have like a zero profile that's like just Rec 709. I don't know if they do though. I haven't really used too many Blackmagic cameras. We had 4K Pocket Cinema 4Ks, like 2 of them for my college. But that's all the experience I really have. Just the occasional times we've ever used those. Well, I could do some color grading tutorials. I used to like get heavy into color grading, but I would do like beginner color grading tutorials and not like really advanced color grading tutorials, because that stuff is, I'm not trained for that. I don't have the practice for it. but I could teach you how to do some really basic stuff, some really easy things. I say that, and I don't change my color when I edit my videos, because I have a LUT actually for my camera, to be fair. Before I started recording, I just made a LUT so it was easier. Oh. There's no LUT. Where'd my LUT go? My LUT's gone. Well, I used to have a LUT for my camera for OBS, but I guess it's gone. It's probably... you can auto change your color space now? I don't know. I'll have to look at that. I think I heard something about that. You can always change your color space settings. You can also create stills which will contain nodes. Yep. Yep. All good information, Chad. All good information. Like when you right click and create still in the color page, if you didn't know, it just makes a copy of your node tree and puts it into a PNG basically to like simplify what it does. And it like easily allows to like save it as a separate file or keep reusing it in your same project. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. I like to use yeah, LUT not out. I like to use color space transforms, not the full DaVinci like the DaVinci color managed, because I like to have more control over all my cameras, especially if I'm using multiple different types of cameras. They made it easier or something. Yeah, you can also bring in other footage and that will get their grade color, their color grade too, I believe. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not too sure what you're referencing in that. Yeah, there needs to be better matching options in Fusion, or in the color page. The matching is really hard to do. That's something I haven't like mastered yet. I do it mostly by eyeball, but you can really do some really advanced techniques to like make sure it's matched, and it's really tough. This is really intense music for not a whole lot going on. I'm in the middle of a fight, apparently. Yeah, I like to edit in DaVinci Wide Gamut and then output in 709, because I like the wideness of Wide Gamut for like no matter what clip you're using, it's just the same color space every time. Makes it really easy to like copy and paste grades over. Like you can bring in a clip of the matrix and apply that grade to your footage. Yeah, like you can steal grades like that. It's not perfect. Like you have to do a lot of fiddling with it, and it kind of applies it as pretty much a LUT. And like you can't like change like very specific settings on it, but it's good in some cases if you like want to have a quick gag in a video, or have a good base to like base your actual grade off of or something like that. Yeah, color grading is quite simple once you get into it. And like there are some super advanced stuff you can do. Like I've been watching Kazi. I don't know if you've ever seen him before. Oop, I went to the end of that video by accident. Let me get his channel, because he's a great YouTuber. He does a lot of fantastic videos. And that's the wrong Kazi. Is he in my subscription feed recently? Oop, hit the mic. Kazi does a lot of advanced color page tutorials, like color grading tutorials for DaVinci Resolve. Recently, he's been bringing on a guest host as well to fill in the gaps because he's been a lot busier, I'm guessing. Come on, where is it at? Where's his channel? Here we go. Darren, yeah. Darren's really good too. Here, I'll put Kazi in there. Darren was actually in Alex's live stream, really wanting his Zoom tool as well. And I'll get Darren's link as well, real quick. Fantastic tutorials by the both of them. Both of them are like trained for this stuff and teach it on a regular basis. So definitely learn from those two guys. But for the beginner stuff, I think Darren does really good beginner stuff. Analyze another macro and give us your comment search for the name convert anything to 3D in DaVinci Resolve. No, he's not the guy that Alex interviewed. That was somebody else. That was a Jake something. Yeah, for YouTube editor, either have a camera setting so that it's like already what you want and like keep it in Rec 709 right out of the camera, or if you have a higher quality camera that has a log format, then keep it simple. Basically convert it to Rec 709 or to wide gamut, then Rec 709, editing in between, and doing some mostly contrast. Contrast, maybe a little bit of either DSAT or higher sat. And if you want to split the blues and oranges, you can, but that's extra stuff. Generally, you'd like use a LUT for that if you really wanted to do that. I'm personally against LUTs, but if it makes your editing faster, go for it. Like, there's no way to like not use a LUT. And like, LUTs can break your footage, but if you use it in the right way, what it's made for, then it usually works okay. I don't have another macro to analyze right now, James. I don't have one right now that someone's given me. I think I have seen Neat on the Rocks before. I think I might have watched one of his videos. The name sounds familiar. Copy that and look it up. Sorry if you heard that little bit of video. I don't like having channel like not previews, but like autoplay videos when you open up their channel, because that gets annoying. Yeah, I have seen one of his videos recently. I saw his video from a month ago. Yeah, go and see me another one. I mean, I feel like James wants to see one being analyzed. Give us your comment search for the name convert anything in DaVinci Resolve to 3D in DaVinci Resolve. I can show you somewhat how to do that. I have made a macro for that before. It's very slow and doesn't do exactly perfect conversion. Like, it won't like give you like raises and stuff. Like, you can't like raise a different part higher than another. But it just basically will like turn your logo into like a block that you can like rotate in 3D space and give like actual depth to. But you can, there's like a slow way to convert it into a macro or into a 3D object as well. And I can maybe do a video on that, like tracing it, like trace your logo with the polygon tools, and then like the shape polygon tools, and like convert that into 3D objects with like extrusions and stuff. Ooh, the Electrify. I might have already downloaded it. I may have already got this one. Yeah, I do. I just haven't actually put it into Resolve yet. Yeah, this is before you got your DRFX working. Where is the first one? Here it is. Let me put this into Resolve real quick. Is this an effect or a title? Okay, so it's like an effect, you like drag and drop it onto an image or text and it works? Okay, sweet. Let me make a folder for you. Missed an E in there. Put that in there and hope DaVinci loads. I don't know why the music is so intense right now. Oh, it's Terrytown. Okay, Terrytown is it's calm. Terrytown should be a nice calming one version. Yeah, Terrytown's nice relaxing. Alright, I think I may have to restart DaVinci. One sec. By the way, I'm pulling up that one YouTuber that did that partnership with Alex. Oh yeah, I did subscribe to this guy. That's right. Yeah. This is the YouTuber who did that partnership with Alex in his Magic Toolkit. In his Magic Anime, I mean. He... Disclaimer about him, he calls himself Daddy all the time, and it makes me uncomfortable. But besides the point, yeah, he did do like a not really a partnership. I guess they like worked together to make their own like pack of animation presets for his subscribers that he sells and like, you know, gets some reimbursement for or something. Okay, let's just put it on the default custom text. I know you can't see me right now, I'm just setting it up. Here we go. So we have just custom title here. Let's find our leave this folder I made and put in Electrify. Yeah, I wondered if that might happen. Random separator, that does not need to be there. Yeah, because it adds like separator lines already. You don't really have to have separators in there like that. Thicker text seems to be better. To like make it bigger. Yeah, it's cool. The UI doesn't matter as much. The UI comes later, like as you're learning more. And there's that with giving them the animated tool again. You can do that, but it's also really easy for them to actually break it. And then there's your creator icon. That one worked better. I don't know why it broke on your other one. Let's take a look at the nodes. Like the impact font. Let's see. Do I have that one built? Yeah, I have that. Impact regular. Okay. Yeah, we still get transparency through it, and I think I know why. Well, let's hop into Fusion and see that. I'm going to open it up with my script, which comes packaged in with the macro creator whenever that comes out. So we have an alpha divide that is in the node structure that doesn't seem to be doing anything. I'm sure that did not mean to be there. Ooh, my eye got itchy. Okay, let's see what we got here. Can we open this up? Things are very much layered on top of each other. Okay, there we go. Alright, usually when you have a transparency issue like that, usually it's the glow nodes. Because this one tick. If you untick alpha on your glow nodes. Oh, you can add a pipe router with alt click. I guess on a regular one like this. And you can add a pipe router and then route it to the input of that. Instead of adding a whole other node like that. It's not like pipe routers or alpha divides are like any slower or faster than each other. It's just like cleanliness. Like, why would you have a full node in there versus like a pipe router? It's just like, yeah, it's just more of a preference too, really. Is something hidden up here? Or what's up here? Is this meant to do this? What is this going to? It doesn't seem like it's going to anything. It's just going off to the abyss. It's probably taking... Yeah, it's taking just the regular input. It's just not displaying correctly. So your edge detecting... Okay. Yeah, it looks like there's just a... Yeah. It doesn't display correctly sometimes. It just does that. Yep, there's the fast noise. I'm guessing this is how we're getting the actual, like, electric effect. Yep, then you're displacing it. And then again. And then you're glowing it. Raise is honestly a really awesome tool. I use it a lot too. Luma Keyer to get rid of the black. Another glow, which we can take off. The alpha on again. Honestly, go for it. Like, take different people's... Yeah. Like, all of my presets, like screen utility... Hello. Jeez, that's ugly. Now, the more glows you have, the more realistic the glow tends to be. So I don't blame you. But my masks, in every effect that I've made recently, has a stroke, and then a regular glow, and then additionally a raise on top of the glow. All of my effects have had that because I like the look of it. It looks cool. So, like, I don't blame you. What is this doing? Why are you masking it with a background? Didn't seem to change anything. Oh, yes. You need so many glow nodes to get like any good looking glow effect. Whether it be the regular glow or the soft glow, like combining all of them to get like a good looking glow, you need that. There's no way to do it with just the single or like one or two glow effects. It can affect the rays. The glow can? What? Oh, the background can. I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess I don't really see much of a difference, but maybe if there's like certain cases where that happens. I use the X glow node all the time. If I could package it up into my tools, I would. However, not everybody has Reactor, and not everybody can get X glow. So, or everybody can get X glow, but not everybody has X glow. And I don't want to have to like ask if I can package it up with my tool, because that's like a whole other step, and like, yeah, it's just something I don't really want to have to deal with. Well, you can, I guess. But yeah, X glow is like a reactor effect. But like making it into a macro, like adding it to a macro is yeah, you just can't do that. Not everyone has what you have when it comes to like custom nodes. Not so much in the tree, but in that first macro I made the color is controlled by the background. It's just become habit, I guess. This background? No. This background? Not this one. Proto V2? I mean, it's not really a glow. Proto is more of like a... It's basically doing this, but a lot more intense. Like, Proto is a very powerful tool, which also actually uses... which Proto uses a tool from Reactor. But is it Patrick who made Proto? I think it's Patrick. He like asked the creator of it if he could share it with his macro, and they were like, yeah, you can. It does have a glow to it, but it's not necessarily made for that. Yeah, it's Patrick, yeah. But like he asked the creator of it to do that, and that's cool. You can do that. It's just an extra step, and I have like social anxiety. You wouldn't believe it, since I stream and do videos, but I have social anxiety. I hate messaging people first, because I'm like always like, they're not gonna respond. They don't know who I am. Yeah, Tensity, which I looked into it. It's really just a recoloring tool, from what I could find. It kind of just like recolors things, from what I understand it being. There may be stuff that I don't know about it. Like I don't understand how else it can be used. But when I played with it, it's really just like a recoloring tool. And I don't understand the whole purpose behind it. Like it's like a... Like if I add it onto this, into here before you like add your text over it. Not Tim. It'll like give you the, like it won't overlay a color onto it, but it will embed the color into the effect. So like you can easily like recolor your glow like this without having to like do anything else. It's really powerful, but it really is just for recoloring like this. Pretty cool tool, but I don't know why he... It is really cool, yeah. Like if you just did like... If you just did like a background into this... Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Like if you just masked it with a background, you would get nothing like this. That is true. Sometimes the simple things are the best. Like this, nowhere near the same as what Intensity just did. And then that's something else I want to like try to learn in the future is making a fuse, which is what that is called. A fuse is essentially a custom node that doesn't use any actual nodes to begin with. Oh, like making this black. I mean, yeah, that was pretty cool, isn't it? It's like a Death Eater? No. Dementor kind of effect, like that smoky effect from like Harry Potter. X has been making fuses? Have I been missing this? I guess I haven't really looked that much into... Oh no, this wasn't X, was it? Oh yeah, the chroma thing? I don't think it was actually X. That was somebody else. Yeah, that was just Crop It. Different creator. Oh, that's actually a macro. It's not even a fuse. Also really cool though. I think I got that in my Armada. Oh, he was talking about. They was talking about them in off topic. Oh, you can see my screen. Can I look for X? X has been making macros. I feel like if X was making fuses, he would like show them off on his YouTube, which I haven't seen him do a whole lot. This was last year. Yeah, he made Motion Suite, which is a script. Then he made the Emoji Pack, which is a macro set. Yeah, his icons, yeah. Macros. No, I think that's macros too. Yeah, there's his macro editor that he made, which is pretty simplistic compared to mine. People were out here saying, man, I think I like Accession's macro editor more than yours. That was back when I like first was announcing it. Like way back. Macro editor. Relevant. Macro editor sucks. Where is it? It's not going to show up in relevant. Is only X is going to show up in it? God damn it! Like that's right there. I know where that is. That's it. Balls. I'm 5. I'm sorry. Yeah. Up here when I was first talking about it, I started making the macro creator the 12th of last month. Yeah. This is when I first started getting the idea of it. This is how it used to look. This is the old design of the macro creator before I was like, actually, that's pretty basic. And here's like it with the labels. It didn't even have the you couldn't even select the main in and outs. Like the general middle part hasn't changed too much, but overall, big overhaul, I feel like. And the idea used to be like you'd click preview and it would like give you a preview of how it was gonna look. Yeah, that is still way better than built-in. Oh man. But I almost clicked the X on that. I'm stupid. I'm glad that I have changed how it looks. It is more complicated, but it is also way more powerful. Yeah, I don't really know what you're talking about for accession. I don't really go in here very often. I'll see you, Chad. I'll probably be heading out of here soon too. No problem. I'm glad you were here for the entire stream this time. I wanted to stay up a little later. One, to answer more questions because everybody has questions, and also I want to have people like engaged a little more. You know. Anyway, I'll see you next time, Chad. I think I see what you're talking about now. Yeah, up here. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be it almost looks like it's gonna be a color page effect, but I don't know. Oh, infinite zoom fuse. Okay. I don't know if they're all gonna be fuses though. It's definitely. That's pretty cool. That's definitely a really cool background generator. I mean, I definitely want to get into making fuses. I don't know how to be. I don't know how they begin to work, because every fuse I've ever dissected makes like this much sense to me. Because they basically just add a control, and it just does something, and I don't know what kind of witchcraft they do to make it work, but like you add a control and then it just works, and I'm like, I don't know why that makes sense, but I guess it does. It uses, I think it uses Lua scripting too, but I probably could figure it out. But this is how I am whenever I try to start something. I'm just like, well, it's witchcraft to me right now. Time to make it not witchcraft, and I just take forever to like learn it. But anyway, it is getting pretty late. I might go ahead and head off to bed. This room's getting pretty hot with my computer running DaVinci for 4 hours. You know, macros use built-in nodes to create the effects, and then fuses are nodes, just regular nodes that people can make. It's insane. There's a whole API behind it, and I don't know how they all work. Some of them are nodes, some of them are modifiers, some of them are similar to scripts, and I just don't. There's a lot. There's a lot that I don't know. Yeah, but I'm gonna head out too. It is getting pretty late, and it's getting hot in here. I think I'm starting to get sweaty. But yeah, it's been great talking with all of you guys. My computer's been running for like 4 hours, and I'm sure I need to air out this room before it starts turning into a sauna. I'll talk with you all next week, and feel free to check out the Discord below if you're not already in there. I'm pretty sure we might still have... I have to keep finding your name because my brain keeps forgetting how to say it. James. Pretty sure you're still in here. It says I have one other viewer, but I can't tell who it is. Good night, Sleeveless. If you haven't checked out the Discord yet, go ahead. I answer questions all the time in there, and we have a growing community in there where we just talk about DaVinci Resolve, macros, and more. So yeah, check it out if you haven't. But besides that, I will see you next weekend or next Friday. See ya. Have a good night.